What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Rated G podcast. I'm your host, G. Derado. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the show. Here on the podcast, I like to sit down and discuss just about anything related to art and creativity, as well as other things happening in life. And I usually like to feature artists, creatives, small business owners to get to know them better and help promote their brand. So if this is the type of content you like to tune into and you enjoy this particular episode, please like, follow if you're listening, subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube, and do not forget to ring that notification bell if you want to keep up with the new uploads. And if you want to follow myself and or my guest, there will be links to our social media, main websites, online stores, all that good jazz provided in the show descriptions. And also, please leave comments, questions, criticisms, like anything, just to help out with the algorithm and to help grow the podcast. Especially on YouTube, like if you could do all the necessary things to help the growth of my channel, that would absolutely that would be great. So that being said, I want to actually revisit the topic of this new artist app called Cara. It's supposed to be the safe platform for artists to share their portfolio. It's just an image only platform, and this is kind of like an anti-AI application, because this whole thing with meta AI right now. And the reason why I'm bringing this back up is because on the last episode, I was I wasn't sure if there was, a monthly fee to use this app. And it just so happens I came across a thread this morning, someone saying the cost of keeping Cara running went up to $13,500 per month with 300K people on the platform. That's 162K per year. I genuinely hope that most of the people rushing over there will financially contribute to keep the site going, because that's genuinely concerning for a small team who has been paying out of pocket. Now, look, I totally understand, right? I'm sure it's not easy and it's not cheap to start something like this. That being said, it, at least for me, because you know, I'm a bit frugal, um, uh, just I feel like I have enough like subscriptions, like monthly subscriptions that I'm paying already, and just to have another one to post um my artwork on, like I don't like I haven't seen enough evidence to see, like to make it worth it. Um, so I feel like a lot of artists that are in a similar position as I am, I feel like, knowing that there's a monthly fee can dissuade someone to jump on board, and like I said again, I feel like everyone, after the news of Meta AI, I just feel like everyone is, you know, very hyper reactionary. Is that a right word? But they're like also like emotionally reacting as well. And I feel like when a lot of decisions that are made emotionally are sometimes irrational. And this is just another one of those pick and choose your battles, right? Because it's like, all right, I want a safe platform to post images of my art to build a portfolio for other artists and art consumers and collectors, that is AI free, right? Like the whatever it is I post on there will not be used for data scraping, but then I got to pay a fee for it as, versus being able to use, using all these other free apps, but you know, have these new conditions where like your videos and photos will be used for, generative AI. So it's just like one of those things, and um at least for me, I don't know if I have it within me to start anew, right? Start from the beginning with a brand new app. Yeah, I don't know if I have that patience. And also, I mean, not to say that it has to be one or the other, right? Like a lot of people are still like are now just adding another platform to their, you know, uh creative endeavors. So it's not like, I mean, some people are completely ditching Instagram for Cara, and I just hope when if that's the case, like I hope that app, you know, will continue to grow and get better for them. Like I really hope, this thing doesn't crash. Uh but yeah, I don't know, like so, I was saying before, um like I don't know, like I don't know, like I just don't have I haven't seen enough to convince me to add another monthly subscription, honestly. Like I just I'm still trying to build my business, and you know sure, this app could help that, help the growth, but it's just like I don't know, man. Like I said it in the last episode, I enjoy making videos and making content and stuff. So it just I feel like, to try to grow on an app that is only image, that is only for images. I don't know. Like I just don't know if I have that bandwidth to expand like that. So obviously to each their own, but I do feel like, for a lot of artists that are in a similar position as I am, I just feel like that's a little dissuasive. It's like great. Like there's an app that is like AI free, but I gotta pay X amount of dollars, and I don't know how much I wish they said it in the thread. I don't know. I'm sure someone in like their comments mentioned how much it is. I don't know how much it is, but either way, I'm like trying to think what other apps are there that require. I mean, well, there's a ton. So it really depends on like what it is you're posting. But like I know like Vimeo, to be able to have all the use, like all the access to their tools, you gotta have like a premium subscription. And so like I get that, right? Because then you have more tools, but then just something joining a platform that requires a fee to just post your images. Yeah, it just I don't know, it just doesn't sit right for me. So I don't know. Teach their own again, like if you decide to jump on that bandwagon, I wish you the best. Um so yeah, and we'll probably be revisiting this topic again with my guest later on. So yeah. Um Now another thing I want to address is and this is late. Um is the new King Charles portrait, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories, because of its color palette and the imagery of it. I mean, if I'm looking at it right now and it's pretty stark, like, it's heavy on the on the red. So it makes, and just the way his face pops out, it's pretty creepy. And it also it just seems like lifeless. Like just again the way they executed on his portraits, just it looks like King Charles in the afterlife. But there's a lot of this skepticism on like satanic symbolism in it. And there was a video I came across, and this guy is talking about, oh, if hold on, I'll just bring in the clip. I'm not gonna even try to verbally explain it. So let's check out this clip.
I wanted to make sure this was real before I actually posted it on my Instagram, and this is what I got. So I turned the image upside down, flipped it, and put it together, and you can clearly see the Baphomet figure, or the goat head and the horns, in the middle when you mirror these two portraits together. And it's funny that they used red, because red symbolizes low states of consciousness. It's the lowest vibrational color. It symbolizes emotion over the mind, the lower self. So let me know what you guys think. Is this a coincidence?
Yeah, is it a coincidence? I mean, I feel like on one hand, I feel like it is. I don't know, like because like this year has been crazy with just elitism, and like all the elites are slowly dropping, right? Like we're finding out the truth about certain figures, and so this is like, again, as Cat Williams has said, and this is I guess verbatim or paraphrased, not verbatim, paraphrased, but he basically said this is a year for truth. So there's a lot of things coming to light, right? A lot of fuckery. So, um, that being said, with so much of that happening, I just feel like this, um, it's almost like we're looking for more stuff like that. So it's just like, is it a coincidence? Are we just looking for more, you know, looking for more things to bring to light? I don't know. I also kind of feel like, I mean, if you were to do all that, right? Fucking duplicate the image and, you know, flip the second one and then rotate both of them so that they're mirroring, and then you attach them and you see this demon. Like, I don't know, it's like this reminds me of, after 9/11 happening. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there used to be like this thing with the I don't know if it was like the dollar bill or the $5 bill, but you would take a dollar bill, and then you would there were a couple things you can like basically make an origami out of it, and it would what was it? Shit. Like, I know one for sure. It was easy. You can Oh, no, no. You know what it is? I'm sorry. I'm like my brain is like trying to remember all this shit. But you would fold the dollar bill so that it would create the Twin Towers, and like the second one like looked like it was in smoke. And at the same time, leaving, as it is folded, it also resembles an airplane. So it's just like I just feel like they're almost kind of reaching too. Like, I feel like there's also a little bit of like pareidolia there. And if you're not familiar with that term, pareidolia is basically like when you're looking at something, like an object or whatever it may be, but its shape reminds you of something else, like it resembles something else. So I always compare it to like when you're looking at the clouds and the way the clouds naturally form as it passes by, it might form into something that, looks like a teddy bear or whatever it is. Um, so I feel like there's a little bit of that. Who knows for sure, but I just feel like because right now where we're at, like as a society, is just like we're looking for these things because so much has been brought to light. So it's like, all right, well, what next? What else? Um, and also because the royal family has a lot of got a lot of skeletons in their closet. So it's just like almost it's just adding more fuel to the fire there. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's like I don't fully believe it. Maybe because I'm not as in tune with the royal family and all their shit, but it's just like it feels almost like a reach. And even still, right? If it if it does resemble the devil or whatever the name of this demon, um, what then? So I just thought that was interesting and wanted to mention that. Um, but let's move on. There's something very exciting that happened in a within like 2 weeks, I'll say, within the hip hop music industry, and that is one, uh, my girls, the XG, they dropped a new single called "Woke Up," and I'm telling you right now, guys, if you are into hip hop and R&B, do not sleep on this. That's right, I said it, because their track is called Wake Up. Is it Woke Up? Sorry, I fucked that up. Woke Up. Yeah, don't sleep on it, guys, especially if you're a big fan of hip hop, because this is like their full on hip hop track with all of the girls. I talked about it on another episode where um the the rap lineup of the group, because it's a 7 member uh group, and 4 of them are rappers, and then you got the other 3 that are vocalists. Um, and I don't know, a few weeks ago, they were dropping. Each rapper was like dropping almost like a mixtape again. So uh, and now they dropped this one where it's all of them, and even like the singers they had some killer flows, and they all had bars, and everything was uh top notch, like the internet was definitely blowing up. YouTube was blowing up. I was watching a bunch of reactions. um but yeah, they fucking killed it with this track. It's definitely one of my favorites. And also the music video for it is like, bro, holy shit. Talk about beautiful cinematography and special effects. I mean, all their videos are like really just so creative, and like it's really like they really create these like these new worlds. Um and just much like their tape 2, I described that. That's like another um it's like another rap lineup. And like I described that video as like an art piece. This one is definitely like in its entirety is another art piece, and it's beautiful. So much going on, visually and then lyrically. It's like, what the fuck? So it's awesome. I'm gonna what I'm gonna talk about in regards to this subject. I will provide links to the music video so you can check it out for yourself if you haven't already. Um, but yeah, it's definitely worth watching or listening to. Whatever it is, check it out. Um, so that happened. That was really exciting. And then I think a week later, Easy Mill drops um a new remix. It's called New York, and in parentheses, it's called the Pakistan freestyle. That was dope too, man. I mean, in my honest opinion, he's got other stuff that's I don't even know what I don't want to say better. I don't know, like I as much as I enjoyed this one, he's had other stuff that I was like really like all in for, 27 Bodies is one of them. Uh I mean, even like freestyle wise, I mean, um what was that other the the challenges? Uh Shit, I can't remember the one challenge he did where he created his own beat, like a cappella style. Um but anyway, like it was just exciting for him to come out with something new because like we hadn't heard anything since he put out Realist with Eminem, which was dope too. And speaking of Eminem, he just recently dropped a new a new single for his. I mean, is it, we're speculating that this is his last album. Um, because yeah, what is it called? It's like I forget what it is, but this the new single is called Houdini. I think the album is called And For My Last Trick or something like that. But he dropped a new music video, Houdini, and this is the return of Shady, my friends. And so we're getting old M back, and Gen Z is not happy about it. But like it's Gen Z. They don't, if they don't, if they haven't followed him or not follow him, but if they haven't heard his old stuff, like I mean, this is like what he put out. I mean, it's like nothing new for us. I mean, if anything, we're just happy to see the return of Shady. Um, but yeah, if you're new to his catalog, like yeah, you're gonna want to cancel him because he says a lot of offensive stuff. But also like his old stuff, if you heard his older shit, like you'll like you're gonna really want to cancel his ass, and he can't be stopped. But it was really exciting. The music video is awesome. There's a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of callbacks to his just all his classics. So that was really cool to see. As I said, this is a year for truth. I also feel like it's the year, or I'll just say the time for nostalgia as well. Um, so again, the link for that music video as well as the Easy Mill video, those will also be provided if you want to check those out. But yeah, I'm just like yeah, I don't know. I was just really excited to see these new releases. Um, so yeah, shit's happening, huh? In the hip hop world. I mean, not to mention the beef between Kendrick and Drake. I mean, I actually I have not listened to those diss tracks because I've actually never been a big fan. I mean, I'm definitely not a fan of Drake. I don't know. I don't. Part of me feels like he's a bit of a hack, but I don't know, man. I just never really. If there were, there is like one song I like, but it's only because of the rappers that are in it. I don't, if there's a song of his I like, it's not because of him, it's because of who's featured on there. So, um, yeah. Anyway, not a big fan of him. And, Kendrick Lamar, I know he's great. I know he's very talented, very skillful with his lyricism. But yeah, he's like another one. Like his hits are catchy and like I can bop with it, but like I'm not going out of my way to hear his stuff. So yeah, that's it. So, I'm not trying to like throw shade or hate on them. Uh, but yeah, I never really followed them. So that's it. In that on that topic with these new hip hop gems. Um, Now the next thing I want to talk about is going back to entertainment, particularly just like revolving around film, comedy, video games, like because they are so deep within the wokeness and the DEI, and I've said it once, I'll say it again, but all this shit is destroying creativity, like likability, like it just feels such like a turn off now, you know? Um Anytime I hear like a new project or something new coming out, and then if there's like any sprinkle of these like woke DEI agendas, like I'm just kind of like turned off. Like any mentions of it, you know? Um, and I feel like it's becoming harder and harder to go in open-minded. Um, I mean, of course, I could just ignore any criticisms and reviews on it, but it's just like, I don't know, sometimes you can just see it. So, like in their advertising like previews and stuff. But I have a few examples as to like the result of how much the wokeness and the DAI is hurting these industries. One is John Musker, who was the director of The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Moana, my one of my favorites, Treasure Planet, Princess and the Frog, etc. He says Disney needs course correction away from political messaging, and I couldn't agree more. You know, because and a lot of people would agree with that because it's so true, man. Nonstop, at least because of my algorithm, but it's like nonstop. All of these entertainment journalists, all these media journalists are just like, they got so much content covering just how shitty Disney has become and how much the shittiness is wearing down Marvel and Star Wars, which are these beloved IPs for the geek culture. And it's just like, fuck, man. So, and I'm like, I'm constantly seeing harsh criticisms for Star Wars, the Acolyte. Apparently, the Force is female now. Like, what? It's just so silly, man. Again, I don't know for sure if that's really the case, but if that is, it's like, goddamn. And, I've heard, sound bites from interviews with the creator or whoever for the Acolyte, and it's a little sus. Um, but uh another um another thing that I saw was like George Lucas is also, he's because of what's happening with Star Wars. Great segue here. He's speaking against this whole girl boss trope in the franchise. And yeah, man, I don't know. It just like there's got to be like an organic way to put to have a female protagonist. Like, I don't know, like why can't they take notes from the Alien or like Tank Girl or GI Jane or hell, what's that Julia Roberts film? When she's not a lawyer, but she's like fighting a case about um like the water being poisoned or some shit. Uh Aaron, is it Aaron Brockovich or something like that? Um, like I don't know, like those movies didn't feel so, you know, like the messaging there didn't feel forced, right? They were just kind of like more grounded, realistic scenarios for these people. It's just like just feels inauthentic. Um, and then another example on how wokeness and DEI is most likely wokeness. I'll just say wokeness is destroying creativity, but um, in the video game industry, I mean, there's so much affecting the video game industries. Like, so many games are being affected by this, and One of them being the new Assassin's Creed. It's under fire for historical inaccuracies. They brought in this black samurai, which is like there is like history behind this individual, but if I remember correctly, like I don't think he was actually a samurai. Um, and I think now they made him gay too. Like so many things is happening just in that game, and similar things are happening with so many other games. Like it sucks, man. It's like so unfortunate. It's almost like, man, it's hard to be a geek for these these things, man. And perhaps that's why it fuels my nostalgia for 90s and 2000s cartoons and television shows. It's just, I don't know, man. Again, that's why I think this is just proof of what I said in the other episode. It's just, yeah, wokeness, DEI is destroying creativity. AI too is destroying creativity, and I really wouldn't be surprised because like that's another thing that's coming to light is that yeah, apparently these studios are using AI to write their films, and you know I guess for not to just write the films, but even just taking things out, right? Like digitally. And then so I don't know. It's just like it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Um, like Hollywood is just like, and Hollywood is crumbling. The numbers aren't doing great for like all these movies that have been coming out as of late. It's just like, damn, man, what the fuck is gonna happen? So that's all I got to say about it. We're probably gonna be touching on that as well later on with my guest. So it should definitely be an intriguing conversation. Um, but yeah, before we move on to that, I just want to plug a couple of things. Not much really. Just that June 22nd, if you're in Norfolk, Virginia, sorry, I laughed in my head and made me pause in that weird way. Norfolk, Virginia, if you're in that area, I will be at the Norfolk Farmers Market. It's at the 300 Monticello Ave across from Norva. That's on June 22nd, and then July 26th is the opening reception for my Tech Utopia exhibit, and it will be held at Artworks. So yeah, if you want to come see my artwork up close, you can check it out there. If you missed the reception, no big deal. It's gonna be up for 6 months. So yeah, I'm just really excited, man. This is like my first solo exhibit. So, and I've been working very hard for this on this series, just because of how mentally and sort of like emotionally exhausting this series has been. And I mean, I got so many more ideas that I've been like kind of not dreading, but just very hesitant to revisit, because I just not sure if I want to get back into that mindset. But yeah, the more I think about it, I do feel the closer I am to actually going back in that world. So yeah, if you want to set those, mark your calendars or set reminders for those two dates, June 22nd and June 26th. Again, if you're within those in the area. By the way, Artworks is in Richmond. I didn't say so before. But if you, for whatever reason, you're not able to attend because you have other plans, or just because you're not in the area, like you don't live in Virginia, you can always check out my website, You can check out my online shop if you want to purchase any artwork, because a lot of the things I sell at these market events, I do sell online. So, um, yeah, you can just check out my website, theartofgtorado.square.site, and I am open for commissions. Okay, all year round. You know, so if it's your first time booking with me, you get an automatic 10% discount. Shipping and handling are included in the price. And if you are working with a budget, I am open to payment arrangements. Okay. I'm always willing to, try to meet you in the middle there and just make it affordable. And, you know, yeah, I do what I can to accommodate. All right. So yeah, just hit me up. Again, find me on social media, and just shoot me a DM. All right, I'd be more than happy to bring your ideas to life, to help and to decorate your home, or to have it as a gift for a loved one. Whatever it takes to put smiles on faces. All right, I'd love to be the reason of that. So that's it. So yeah. Anyway, before I bring my guest, I guess I just want to remind you guys real quick. Again, if you enjoy this podcast, you enjoy the content, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, that we can keep up with the new uploads, leave comments, and yeah, so let's move on to my guest, shall we? Here we are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special occasion, because joining me for the first time is a longtime friend, good old college buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't honestly, like, I like lost, I don't even know where to begin. But anyway, yeah, uh this guest of mine, we attended the Art Institute of Philadelphia together. And we did a little filming project, which I shared ages ago here on the podcast with
Yeah.
another old friend from back in the day. And it was very much like a heroes inspired, also the comic Marvel's The Runaways,
Runaways.
it was loosely based off of that. But yeah, shoot, I didn't even confirm how you wanted to be addressed, but I knew you as Marcus Vega Eisenhart, but on Instagram
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Marcus Jared. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
please welcome for the first time Marcus Vega Eisenhart. Woo!
Hey, thank you so much, G. I'm surprised you remembered my other last name. Like, holy shit. Not
Um,
many people. Damn, I'm impressed.
I'll
Wow.
be honest. It took me like a minute to remember, like, after you and I really started like talking again online. And it was
Yeah, yeah.
always like in the back of my head. I'm like, I knew he had like like it was like
Two
a
last names.
Vega something. I'm like, it was like Eisen
Yeah, yeah.
something, and I was like,
Yeah.
Eisenhart. I'm pretty sure it's Eisenhart.
Yep. Yeah. Which is crazy because like my social media accounts, I removed so my social media accounts, I would probably say like around 20, like when I turned 30 around 2015, I completely got rid of, the first name, last name, all that jazz. And I've been going by Marcus Jared.
Right.
But then my Twitter, Instagram, and all that has been Vega Suckram, which is my first part of my last name, the Vega part, which is cool because Street Fighter,
Yeah.
and then
Exactly.
Marcus backwards. So, and I got the idea from the lead singer of Paramore, Haley Williams.
Okay. Yeah.
Hers is like Yala, Williams or whatever. So I just stuck with that because I had coworkers who were searching for me online and at work,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I was really weirded out. And so I changed everything. And since then it's been like that. So that's been like that for at least 9 years. So
Okay.
I'm pretty impressed you remember that. So that's
I'll
crazy.
I'll give myself a little credit as well, because I mean, I still smoke weed, and I'm sure there's been plenty of like brain trauma from messing around with
Yeah.
psychedelics and whatnot. So I like, yeah, I'll give myself a little credit for remembering stuff from back
Yeah,
in the
man.
day.
That's a, got
Um,
good. You got a good memory. That's good. That's good.
yeah, it's all right. But yeah, brother.
Well, what else do you remember? Let's say, what else do you remember from
Oh
college?
boy.
Like,
I mean,
yeah, I got
uh,
some stories for you about you.
what we should do? Is well, first let's
However you want to. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
well, all right. Were you in animation as well? I forgot what major you were
No,
in. I know you had a roommate
I
that was
was in.
animation, but
Yeah, I was in the media arts and special effects portion
ah,
of because there was two different there was media arts and animation,
right.
and then there was media arts and special effects.
Okay.
So I, as someone who's been drawing since I was a little kid, I just became obsessed with special effects and movies and TV shows and such. Obviously, the hero's inspiration for, the thing we worked on together.
Mhm.
So I chose that path, but that was a 2-year degree, whereas the media arts and animation, I think it
Trimester.
was three,
Yeah.
three, right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I stayed an extra
So
year
that's the
though.
path. Yeah. Yeah. So like that's the route I took just because I wanted to try something different. And I skate a lot, like I rollerblade. So I was already having like a camera recording my buddies and learning how to, edit and do montages and shit like that and put music over it. So that became like a passion of mine very early on. And then you got my best friend Chris, aka Chan.
Yeah.
He did film production, so
Right.
and he went to the same school as us. So and he was actually the one recording us,
Yep.
during
I
the
remember
thing and whatnot.
I
Yeah.
I remember filming that scene uh, relatively well. Like I remember the amount of takes we had to do of me running up the
Yeah.
stairs. And like a little
Yeah.
insight for the audience too,
Yeah.
because like now you like back then you had the short hair. I mean you kind of had a bit of the Peter Petrelli
Peter
thing
Petrelli
going
hair.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
now
did.
you're sitting here in front of me with a long, like we almost like traded like hairstyles because
Traded
I,
spots.
I
Yeah.
back then I looked like a Mongol, bro. I was like fucking it looked like Genghis Khan.
Bro, I was afraid of you. And we could talk about that later, but yeah. So But yeah,
Uh,
so that's what I just did with school, man. Just, what did that path, got my 2 years in and left and
got it.
didn't do anything with it. So yeah.
Well, you and I both, my friend. Like
Yeah.
I always reflect on that. Like, obviously I'm not pursuing animation, but I'm like, I always just kind of reassure myself, or like just tell myself like, hey, you know what? At least I'm still pursuing art. Like, if I went a
Yeah.
completely different route, that's where I probably would have like, I probably would have went through a heavier, like a heavy depressive state. But I always just
Yeah.
kind of reassure myself. I'm like, hey, you're like, you're running your own art business now, so like at
Yeah,
least
that's good, man.
still drawing. I still pick up the pencil. So that's always been like
Yeah.
the rule there is that I still got to work that pencil. But
Hey, man.
yeah, man,
Be
dude.
proud of yourself. That's an accomplishment, man. It's like what are you? You're an LLC, right? So I mean
Yeah,
that's a big deal. So
it is. But
it's a
yeah,
start.
it's
Yeah.
it is what it is right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been since the big move down here to Richmond, it's like it's almost
Oh
like
yeah.
a
Hmm.
restart in terms of
Yeah.
finding my demographic and also like just trying to get in with it like the community and stuff. But you
Yeah.
know it's been good, but it's also had its great challenges as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, this
Why
is
did
like
you guys move, if you don't mind me asking? Like, is there a reason for that, or like I
uh,
remember catching up because I still talk to Connor and Mike, mostly Connor.
yeah,
Still talk to Connor. These are our college friends, by the
yeah.
way. And yeah, so I forget how I found out, and someone was like, "Yeah, G and Nicole, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Nicole."
and Nicole says hi,
Um,
by the way.
Hi, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd
And
remember her.
oh no, I do because I have a friend whose wife is named Nicole, and I swear
Yeah.
your wife and his wife could pass as sisters because they look so
Oh
much alike.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, somewhere down the line, somebody mentioned to me that you guys had moved, and I'm like, gee, out of Jersey? What's up?
I
Where
know,
what?
yeah. It
He
was
crossed the Mason-Dixon line?
it's just, it was like at the, it was at the break of COVID and stuff, and just
Mm.
we were living in a relatively expensive area,
Mhm.
so just like our rent was just like it was just getting too high, and you know, Nicole's sister and her husband live down here as well, and they've been down here since like their
Oh,
college
okay.
days. And
Yeah.
when we heard about what their mortgage was at the time, I mean, it's got,
Hmm.
everything's higher now, but when we heard like
Hmm.
what their mortgage was at the time, we're like, oh fuck, like our rent is more than their mortgage. So we're just like,
Oh,
we gotta,
wow.
it came down to, just having just a little more financial freedom, and
Yeah.
um so then just, last what was it, November, we fought we through like because it's been almost, I want to say it's been almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years, I think, in January. So
Wow.
like the
Yeah.
last 3 years have just been searching for houses, and it
Mm.
wasn't until last November where we locked it in, and then we moved everything like right before Christmas, and
Mhm.
yeah,
This would not this long ago, just recently.
yeah, like it's been
Like
about 6 months
not
since we
not
moved.
in 20. Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
thought it was
yeah.
like you guys
Oh no,
moved
no,
into that
like
house the year prior in 2022.
oh no, I mean, it would have been nice to have yeah, it would have been nice to get it then, but yeah, just the
Yeah, yeah.
market's been like wild, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is kind of surreal, my friend, because the last time I've had this type of reunion was with Dante.
Back, yeah, yeah. Like I remember I feel like I saw that on Dante's Instagram at one point.
Okay.
Um
Yeah,
or
we
there
got
was some
fucking
yeah,
hammered.
I mean Don
It was
yeah, you sounded hammered.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like
Uh
yeah, I mean, and that was like the early state of the podcast too, so it wasn't like a video
yeah, yeah.
format, just straight audio.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because like, there was a point in that in the middle of recording. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think we were watching videos or something, and then Dante like broke his seat. So you just we're just talking about something, and all of a sudden you just hear this like
Oh yeah,
snap.
yeah.
We just, we're just like, what the? We were just laughing, but like, oh my God, like everything was just happening on air, and it's like, and then I'm just like, well, this is
Some things never change.
yeah, it was,
My
yeah,
gosh.
and that, I mean, and that alone, like reuniting with him, meeting his husband, like that was like
Hmm.
that was I mean, not meeting his husband, but like just like sitting with him in his home, because that was the thing. Like I actually drove over there
Yeah,
to
because he's near me, kind of sorta, like a little
are you
bit. I
still
think he's in.
Bethlehem?
Yeah, so I'm still in the Lehigh Valley area, Bethlehem, but they call it
Right.
the Lehigh Valley area. So it's in between Scranton and Philly. So it's about an hour north of Philly, hour and a half north of Philly. And
Okay.
then Dante, I think, is in
Hazel?
Bloomsburg, right?
Oh,
If I'm but
okay.
yeah, yeah, Hazleton, that's right. Yeah. No, you're right. So because he's like Hazleton, Tamaqua area, and I think that's like if you were to say this is Lehigh Valley, here's Scranton, he's kind of like just a smidge west in between Scranton and the Lehigh Valley area. So he's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. It was interesting. I'll just leave it at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
stay like the day or the weekend or
I spent the night because I got so trashed, and
oh
also
well
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
figured like I don't know, we wanted to make like we wanted to do like this whole thing, like, we do the podcast,
Hmm.
and then he was like, oh, like, maybe we can do a video together for my channel, and I'm like, all right, yeah, sure, but then we
Yeah.
just got, well, I brought Bud with me, so like, And I didn't realize till we were like smoking that he had stopped smoking weed. So I think just the crossover from the mixture of alcohol and weed like really got to him, and like it was like
It
I
hit him.
hear in the podcast, but I was just like, oh, I didn't, I was like, I didn't anticipate that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I see Dante's killing it too online.
oh yeah,
Like,
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, he's been at it like
he's got a lot of
for such a long time, so like
yeah,
great for him.
yeah. Kudos, dude.
But yeah, dude, like it's yeah, so it's like pretty crazy sitting down and seeing your handsome face, fella. Um,
Yeah, it's like Transformation Tuesday with you, because like I was like I have some pictures stashed aside too on my desktop here, but I was like when the fuck was the if can I curse on here too, by the way?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
dude, come on.
Okay. I was like, when the fuck have I last seen G? And not even kidding you, in my living room, there's a photo of you and us in my living room at Connor's graduation, when we're out back of his house, where his
Oh
mom took the
yes,
photo of us.
that's
And
right.
I was like, and I have other photos of like I have so many. It's either my small circle of friends here in the town I grew up in, like, Chris, Chan, and everybody else. And then there's college photos. And there's photos, and it's like still I surround myself with that. And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm asking this question when I have G, 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 like on 3 or 4 different photos in my living
Uh,
room. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was the last time. And I haven't, and like we've caught up every now and then.
yeah.
Especially like when I'm posting stuff when I come back to my drawing phase or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and then I I remember looking at your page, I'm like, that doesn't look like G. I'm like, well, holy shit. He looks like a new man. Like, like you lost weight. You look good, man. You
I
do.
appreciate it. Yeah, at this
I mean,
point,
you look good then. You didn't look bad, and I can understand,
you're
but
you're you're see you're such a sweet guy.
no,
I'm gonna
I
let you. No, I was. Come on.
I
No,
would say
y-
there's always a saying from like the Matrix where it's like your residual self-image, like when they get into the Matrix and Morpheus tells Neo about it. I always say like my best friend says that too. He's always like, I don't know, man. And I'm like, no, dude, that's like if I when I think of you, I still think of you that way. Sure, you look different now, but you still look like that personality is what I see. But even though the image is there, it's like it's still fitting, you know? You didn't
mm,
look terrible, you didn't look, trust
yeah.
me, I've seen some worse people.
I mean,
So,
I'll
but
say it probably got worse after college. Like I definitely got
oh, okay.
a little bit after college. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, the initial weight loss really just happened after working for UPS as a loader for a bit.
Oh,
Because
I've done that.
it's such arduous labor.
Yup.
So and I was and it's funny because like I started in the winter, so I'm layered up, but
Oh, it's
damn.
cold. Yep.
Yeah,
That was my
so
first job out of high school.
but I like even with all the layers and
Hmm.
being out in the trailer in the winter, it's like you're fucking just sweating. I'm just like taking
Yep.
layers, sweating so much. But yeah, that
Yep.
was like that was like the thing that helped me start it. And then yeah, it just kind of started, it went on from there. Like I've always enjoyed working out, just never was well educated on it. And then once I kind of
Hmm.
got a little hint of like what I'm doing, and then this like Canadian fitness lifestyle coach reached out. I guess he was just trying to get some clients, and I started working with
Yeah.
him for a few years, and
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Nice.
But like now I'm just like in maintenance mode. Like back then, obviously you're trying to reach like certain goals, certain get
Yeah.
toned or whatever it is. But now like you know,
Bro, you were going beyond plus ultra. Like
dude.
you
So there.
were at the post and stuff like that. I was like, I would hear My Hero Academia music playing in the background, and I'm like that inspirational guy speaking, the Japanese guy, and he's like, "No, you gotta do it." Anytime back in the
Yeah.
day when I'd see you post, I'm hearing that inspirational Deku, you
Uh,
know, music, and I'm like, Yeah, that's man, he's freaking killing it, you
The
know.
the fitness journey is a hell of a thing, man. Like,
Hmm.
it's like, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to like articulate it. It's just like it's like such a high that you find yourself starting to
Yeah.
become like a fitness influencer. And it's just like I mean
Yeah.
that was never like my intention, but it is like it is
Yeah.
gratifying to hear if and when I happen to inspire others to be more healthy conscious and stuff. And it's but
Hmm.
yeah, there was like a photo I posted like a little while back, and it was like right after we just moved here, and
Hmm.
it was like the lightest I've been. It was probably the most shredded I've been, and I'm like, and every now and then when I'm like
Yeah.
scrolling through my private account and I see that photo, I'm like,
Damn it. We're getting old. Is it you ain't gonna have it,
well,
boy?
well, that's yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because when I took that photo, that was just about the end of my prime. I was
Yeah.
30 something. I'm gonna be 38 this year. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I was just every now and then I see that photo, I'm like, fuck. Like if I can get close to that again, but you
Yeah.
know, when if when you don't have the equipment and stuff like that
Hmm.
certainly changes things. And I'm going through some health issues myself. So, it's just like now I just kind of
What?
maintain what I have and
You all
just
right?
functional. Yeah. Like if I even had like the equipment to be able to lift heavy again, I probably wouldn't be able to.
Hmm.
Like I've been developing like arthritis in certain joints, and I'm like, man, this
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
sucks.
Is
But
that the medical problem you're referring to? It's just like
yeah,
the
I
starting of arthritis, or yeah?
yeah, it's like
If you don't mind me asking,
no, no, it's fine,
it's
dude.
your medical stuff, yeah.
I just been like I've started recently like seeing a physician again, and like I've just been
Hmm.
like off, in terms of like just keeping, obviously I'm working out, eating healthy, but like in terms of everything else, I've
Hmm.
been slacking mainly because like I didn't have
Yeah.
insurance and stuff. But like now
Hmm.
I'm like at the point where getting blood work done, seeing a physician. I gotta find a new dermatologist because I'm speculating that the arthritis is linked to my psoriasis. So
Oh, okay.
or
Yeah.
diabetes, one or the other, because
Hmm.
diabetes runs in my family.
You're diabetic?
I mean, I'm according to my doctor right now, because he looked at my blood work, but my glucose levels are a bit high, where I'm like almost near like
Hmm.
borderline.
Like when when you do your fasting or whatever, right?
Why? And that was the thing.
Like when you don't eat for like 12 hours or
Well, that was the thing. I fucked up. I didn't fast. Like I had a because
oh
I
well that's what
I worked
that's
out
why.
that morning and had a pre-workout, so that like I'm
Yeah.
hoping that like but
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be
but
surprised. Like one glass of orange juice will fuck up
oh no,
everything.
yeah,
Even even like taking what
I
is
had
it
like
like Benadryl, like antihistamines and stuff like that, you know?
okay, yeah, I had like a self like one of those
Yeah,
like
like
Celsius drinks, um,
yeah,
but yeah. So I mean, even still, like
it happens.
I'm just trying to catch up on that stuff now and just yeah, just like maintenance
Yeah.
maintenance mode. But
Yeah. I mean, I
enough
know the
about
feeling. I know like I
enough about me though, bro. Like
yeah.
how the hell have
Hey,
you
I know
been?
it's good hearing about you. I've been good. I mean, my God. I mean, what do you want to know? It's been 12 years since we last saw each other. I mean, again, we spoke a couple times, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, like where you working at now? Because obviously, I see you flying,
S
but I know that's not like your main thing.
yes. No, so I'm a so so after school, after finishing school at the Art Institute, I went back to school, which I think I know Connor and everybody else knew about it because I was still coming to see you guys once I was done,
Yeah.
and I'd come down. I came down Halloween. I came down because then you didn't live at the apartments above the H&M or whatever, right? Because
Oh, the
that's where your
1530
apartment was back
building.
in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you guys had moved, or maybe you and Nicole got a place somewhere,
So,
something like that.
I
at
moved
the
into a
end.
house. I moved into a house in South Philly with
That's it.
other
Yeah.
people from my major.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing
So
though,
I
because
went
like
back. Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't as yeah, like I wasn't as close with like Connor and them as you were. I mean, I was,
Hmm.
happy to, to have, be friends with them, but like yeah, I just wasn't as yeah, my friendship with, I mean, I haven't even spoken to Mike Luna or Con, like I haven't spoken to them like I'm gonna even
For
say
like
since
years, right?
that party. You know what I mean? Like I just been so out of the loop. So um
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean it was college, right? So you had like multiple cliques.
Yeah,
Um
you did. Yeah.
but yeah, I'm sorry, but as you were
Yeah.
saying,
No,
other
yeah, so like I went back to school for communications, just like writing and speech and all that kind of stuff, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I initially went for radiography just to get a job in like a hospital field, right out of community college. And then I did a speech on JFK conspiracy theories, and the
shit.
teacher was like, "Hey, come see me after class." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble."
Huh.
And immediately she gave me the pamphlet for communications, and then they put me in honors classes because she was like, "You did such a good job that the director of communications was sitting in that I had no idea on a speech that I did." Um, and I was showing like clips of the old JFK movie with Kevin Costner and kind of explaining all the different theories and all that kind of shit. But yeah, so finished off with that, and then I worked at Apple. So I worked for Apple for 4 years, something like that, 3 or 4 years. And it started off at the Apple Store, and then I started working from home as customer relations and well, tech support, then customer relations. So people to people kind of thing, because that became like I'm a people person, like
Mhm.
I'm very intro slash extrovert, but I
Ambivert.
really just, yeah, yeah, like just, and at that time I was also writing for a video game website that people from Art Institute actually started.
Oh, okay.
So it was called Super Polypixel. So, and I actually remember getting the gig when I was at Connor's graduation. I got the phone call.
Oh shit.
So my buddy Tim O'Rourke, who also went to Art Institute, he was working for like an off branch or subsidiary of IGN, and but it was on the East Coast here, so they did like things for IGN, and like there was a whole different thing with video games back then with websites and all that. But he started something in the area. He's from Jersey as well, the Flemington Bridgewater area.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, man, like just let me know about it. And he interviewed a couple people, and so it was me and like a couple others, and we did that for 4 years. So I was a managing editor for that website. So that was like part-time, didn't get paid because it was more like getting out there, but we got to go to like conventions for a discounted price or for free or like after parties. So there's like a popular game series called Dead Space that's like the
Mhm.
survival horror game. So I got to meet to the developers and chat with them and stuff like that, and it was really cool. But um, and of course, like the video editing stuff, so like recording game footage and then talking over it, and again, like coming back to my special effects sort of
Okay.
like video editing sort of love and all that. And then the site shut down because Tim got a corporate job for GameStop or from GameStop. So once he got a corporate job from GameStop, it became like a NDA or something like that. Like so because you're kind of working in the industry at that point, he couldn't talk about video games or upcoming or be associated with it. So me and one of his best friends that helped run the website, we were like, dude, we'll still do it. But he was like, nah, like the graphic design, all this stuff is like a passion project. This needs to stay in my portfolio. And we're like, but what about like all the stuff we wrote? Like what happens to
Yeah.
that? And so so there's still like random stuff of mine up there. Because we started off on Tumblr and then worked our way up to like our own like hosting website and such. But once he had to sign that NDA, everything had to stop.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucked because then like I remember being at my happiest like I would say from Connor's graduation party, like around 2011, to probably around like when I turned 30. And turning 30 for everyone sucks, but um yeah, it just kind of like my whole world changed and I had to kind of find like I had went through a breakup. I it was somebody I was with for many, many years. I was like I myself started to put on weight, little old skinny me put on weight.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, and I wasn't skating, I wasn't drawing, things like that. 'Cause like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like I had to find a different, tune of life. And so me too, I started working out and I got shredded at 30 years old. I felt great,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm super short. And when you lift heavy, like I couldn't fit in the small shirt. I felt like a house. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. So then I started finding my love for running. And I mean, skating was like another thing where rollerblading, like trick rollerblading, like Brink, if you've seen the movie Brink or whatever, things
Mm.
like that. So I've always done that. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I moved to Philly. So that was something I never really shared with anybody is like
Okay.
I would go out skating and nobody really knew where I went. They'd be like, oh, Marcus is just rollerblading. And it's like, no, I was skating at like a spot in the street, like with people I knew in Philly. And I remember Connor being like, where do you go? Like, where do you skate? And I'm like, oh, I'm going here at this park. And he's like, what? He's like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, man. Like, that's what I was. So it was kind of like my own little secret because growing up an hour and a half north of Philly, I, that's like something we did. We go to New York, we'd go to Philly to skate. We didn't
Yeah.
really have many skate spots or street spots. And we had some, but hardly any skate parks. So, it was the best of what we had. And I kind of just did Philly because it was the easiest to kind of line my ducks in a row. But
Mm.
I uh I got foot surgery during that time too. So I
I
had to learn
was,
to walk again after you remember I was in the
yeah,
boot.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah. So I had my Achilles had tore like halfway and I had an issue called tarsal tunnel syndrome. So like that's where like the weight gain came in like 2011 to 2014, 2015. I too was smoking back then and having a girlfriend was like something you got to do in your 20s and and
Yeah.
yeah, like again, like I was at definitely my happiest for sure, but then it kind of was like, all right, I have to shift my life because I had a house with friends and then we kind of closed shop on that. And so I left Apple. Um, I started working for Walmart. So I went from one well-known corporate company to Walmart, and then and I was working at Walmart like part-time at the time, like just packing boxes, just get myself out of credit card debt. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, and then I applied for a job for like an admin. So basically I was like overseeing the senior staff schedule. So I don't know if you've ever seen the show Parks and Recs, but everyone would call me everyone would call me the Ben Wyatt of the building. So it was an e-commerce building. So it was a
Okay.
facility. It's like 1.8 million square feet. Like it's massive. But I was basically following like a Chris Traeger around, going and Perkins, and just because he's saying he's doing this, but he's doing it to because the associates, like I think there was like 3,500 associates in the building.
Mm.
So then it shifted where I oversaw like the finances of the building, I oversaw the senior staff of the building, and just was there. I guess I was like their personal assistant.
Mm.
Um, and then it became more of like a public relations, like going around the facility, seeing how people are feeling or doing, because there were a lot of people that worked in the building, and
Yeah.
if one person's pissed off, it spread like wildfire. Um, and then I got to do like little projects, like graphic projects, which is cool. So then for me, sort of like is weird because like drawing started to come back for me slowly but surely, and I got to design a couple of the in-house shirts. So like they call themselves the Wolf Pack. So
Okay.
I got to design each Walmart online facility had like their different like team name and stuff to go against each other for the bonus. So ours was Wolves, and I got to design a bunch of shirts and shit like that, which was awesome. And then it went from that to then designing the interior graphics and like, but I always had to keep it branded, of course, as you know, like you have to keep everything within brand,
Right.
and follow the guidelines. So in a way, like that in 2016, that's when kind of my drawing, uh, like my passion for it started to slowly but surely come back into my life. Um, and it wasn't as much as it's been in the last year. So like even with skating too, because like I had to learn to walk again. And after the surgery I got when you last saw me, and they said I would never skate again, but something about that job that I had at Walmart really got me to, it was a very stressful job, but it got me to start to realize like what do I personally like in my life now that I'm in my 30s, and what am I going to do with that? Because, I don't want to be some guy who's working at a job that I'm going to be there for life or whatever
Mm,
and not have anything extra. And I was raised by my grandparents. I don't know if you knew this, but
mm,
my grandparents raised me. I moved in with my grandparents at a pretty young age. And so there's a lot of old sayings that they used to say, and you could probably resonate with this. But one of them was, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it was meant to be.
right.
And both two things in my life that came back to me were skating and drawing. And, I mean, my grandfather passed away back in 2010, but my grandmother's still kicking it. And I'm always like, you sons of bitches, you guys were right. Back then you're like, oh, shut up. Like, no, you're
Yeah,
not right.
right.
No, shut up. You don't know. You don't know what it's like. Like
Yeah.
I'm like you're old. And
Right.
then I was like, now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, they fucking got me. They got me, bro.
Mm,
And to this day, I always tell my grandmother, I don't know how much time she has left, but I'm always like, you were right. Like those things came back to me as I let them go because life has it takes its course. But I am super glad, and I'm sure if you follow me on my other Instagram, not my art page, but like I post some skating stuff on there, and it's yeah. So those passions of mine have come back into my life, and especially with COVID, like once COVID came, it like kickstarted, and then when it came to art, I would say the art side of me really kicked me in the ass probably, and I would say like 2022, but I was always hesitant to like post stuff, and
mm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
not.
wasn't really sure. And then finally I was like, you know what? January 1st came around this year, and I was like, dude, just make a page, another a separate Instagram page, and just do it. And then even like YouTube, like I've had friends tell me like you've got great ideas, like just try. Like it's
Yeah,
not going to hurt you. So I think it's getting into a or getting out of my own comfort zone of just sitting at home and drawing and saying, "Oh, I'll just post this on my personal page."
yeah.
But now I'm seeing the outlets that are available to me that I wish I would have taken advantage of years ago. But like my grandparents always said, it's like it'll come to you, like
Mm.
shit like that. So, but yeah, I would say that sums up life in the last like 10, 12 years since we last seen each other. Yeah.
Hey, damn. Well, hey man. Well, bless your grandmother. Still kicking it
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to hear about that. And the fact that the two things that you love have come back to you, and you're sort of like reinvigorated, enthusiastic about it. Despite
Yeah.
maybe you feel you're not as good as you used. Like that shit's like
Yeah,
irrelevant.
exactly. Yeah.
But I'm happy to hear you're kind of back in that place of
Yeah.
like just like pursuing the thing that makes you happy, like as cliche
Yeah.
as it is, but it's true because like yeah, I mean like it's nice to have like a like a safe regular income, like a steady income. But
Yeah.
sometimes when
Yeah.
it's so like like it's like one thing to have a steady income, but like and yeah, if you're gonna be there for a long time, but it's like sometimes it's because of the monotony of it, like you need something that gets you excited. And
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I think the thing is like it's the excitement, but it's also feeling like a little kid again, and
oh yeah.
I always said like one thing that I keep saying to myself, especially in the last 4 years, because skating really took off for me in 2019. And again, it was a slow build. Once I got the job at Walmart, I think my own personal life started to change because that was a job where I had to be taken seriously, and I had to take the job seriously. So it gave me a boost of confidence of just getting a career somewhere, but also learning when to say no, when there's too much work, and how to just manage your life in general. So that job taught me a lot, and I'm very thankful for it. But it pushed me kind of where I needed to be in my own personal life with, hobbies and interests. And because that slowly built up, and then the pandemic happened,
Mm,
starting to skate when I was told I couldn't skate again because of my foot surgery and all that, that sucks. When you're 26 years old, and you're just kind of like, oh, well, okay, was hoping this could be like my workout for the rest of my life.
mm,
But once I started to skate again and get trained and used to it and such, and um, I always kept saying like, man, I feel like Marcus back in 1999 to 2002, like from 14 to 17.
yeah.
And I kept thinking that. And I'm listening to like music that I listened to in that time frame, even like when I'm drawing at the brewery or something like that, and like POD,
Oh my
Incubus,
goodness.
stuff like that. But I keep every time I'm drawing, I'm going back to that moment of me as that teenager of like, how did I feel then? And how do I bring this into my life now?
Mm,
And you always hear that when older people are like, oh, when you have something that makes you feel like a little kid again, like you see it, maybe in your parents or your friends who are older, you can tell that there's like a passion or love or something or some sort of energy behind it that that you can appreciate. And I think that's the main thing that I have felt is that not just excitement, but feeling that person I was back in the day. So
yeah.
sorry about that. That got pretty deep,
No,
so
dude, this
I
is
don't
what
smoke weed.
no, I love it. This is I mean, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Like,
this is what the podcast is for. It's for like deep
yeah.
conversations like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for sharing that.
No, but yeah, man.
No,
Yeah.
I totally resonate with that in terms of like, yeah, like it's just like you said, it's important to like have that thing that makes you feel those things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean like I mean Jackie Chan has a great book called Never Grow Up, and I think
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
what you said is a lot is um very much what he discusses in his book too is just like, because and I have one of my best friends even says that too, like just kind of like, you know, get in touch with your inner child again, just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
innocence and that, the excitement, like all the good things you felt when you were younger because everything was just so exciting and you felt good. And just
Yeah.
like, yeah, as you grow up and we find out what it's really like to be an adult. It's like, fuck, like, it's almost hard to
Yeah.
find the things that really kind of get you,
Yeah.
other than like socializing, having a drink with friends, but like in terms of like, when you are by yourself, it's like, man, like what are my hobbies or my other interests, other
Yeah.
creative endeavors? It's like, man, what is that? And
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
man,
I've lost a lot of friends to like not I wouldn't say lost in the sense of death, but I mean, I've lost a lot of friends to, drinking all the time and
yeah,
just I've had friendships that have dissipated just because of the bar scene and that's I knew eventually as I got older and got into my 30s, I was like, this is not something that I want to do every weekend.
yeah,
I don't want to be hitting 40. And I mean, my friends are still doing it. And I actually went to try to catch up with a close buddy of mine in the area at a bar. And I mean, they're still doing that kind of lifestyle. I mean,
yeah,
everyone to each their own. Like, I'll
yeah.
never, like, if you're having fun and excited, that's great. But I mean, it's become to the point where it's the money involved, it's the drink, the feeling, and it's the
Yeah, I
hell.
was just
It's
gonna
like,
say,
oh,
for me, it's all
and
about
it's
the
time
physical.
wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I do my Irish goodbye, and I'll see you later, and text my friends if they're like, "Where'd you go?" I was like, "Oh, I said bye to y'all," and it's like 11:30 when really I didn't say bye. I just left, but they were so drunk that that they're not gonna remember.
So funny.
So, but yeah, I mean, I've lost a lot of friends to like drinking and that and other things, of course, harder drugs and
Yeah.
and of course people have kids, got married, moved away, so you had to really, like you said, as you become an adult, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
So you really have to learn to blend with uh society, or just blend in with your own personal things and kind of
Wow.
adapt to everything. So yeah,
100%. I mean, like,
been
and I
quite the
sometimes
journey.
I sometimes think about that as like, making this big move because like all my friends up in Jersey, family
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but then I think like, well, if we were still up there, it's not
Mhm.
like I'm gonna be able to see them as much as we'd like to, like
Exactly. Yeah,
have
exactly.
kids and
Yeah.
work, whatever it is. So,
Hmm.
I'm like, I used to feel guilty. I used to like tell them, I'm like, oh, you ditched your boy, like you ditched everybody. But I'm like, well, everyone's pursuing their life, so it's like everyone's already
Yeah, exactly.
occupied with their lives, like so it's not like so
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, like with the drinking, man, it's a poison, right? That's what it really is.
Yeah.
It's a poison.
I
Everybody is affected
I
differently.
I say, yeah, like drinking for, I mean, to get back to the medical thing, like I actually recently found out, like my blood work for celiac is pretty high. So
Mm,
I have been on a complete gluten-free diet for the last like 2 weeks now.
okay.
It's like night and day changes, no joke.
Wow.
But now, like with drinking, I have to be careful about what I drink. And I'm like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
shit, because I didn't realize that. Um, but I said to myself, I'm like, drinking to me is like a tool. You got to learn how to use it, right? You got to learn to use it, and if you overuse it, you're gonna wear it out. So, and again, being raised by my grandparents, seeing them how they drink, it was like it's social drinking. You have a beer or two, you chat, you shoot the shit with your neighbor, your friend, you play cards, you do something social where you're having a good time, but you're not getting shit faced. And
Yes,
I
exactly.
think having seen that as a young age has really kind of stayed with me. But but college it was like, fuck that, I'm getting
Oh,
fucked up. But
dude, I
and
remember.
then you regret it. Yeah.
I mean, with the drinking alone, but I remember shit, the shit you would like. I remember doing Adderall and drinking and just like,
Oh
yeah,
shit.
like
Ooh.
you
Ooh.
just you don't know any better. Like, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like yeah, like drinking for me, like I prefer not to, I still smoke weed. I prefer weed, but even like
Hmm.
weed, I don't get to smoke as much. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's just like you learn as you grow older, like how to, just how to
Yeah.
moderate yourself, like because you
Yeah.
know from past experiences, and
Where's the water?
yeah, exactly. Where's the water?
Yeah.
What's the percentage of this thing?
Oh my
It's
God.
just all of it. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's wild. Yeah, that's why I smoke weed. Because you don't have to worry about the hangovers and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah.
That's good, man.
But
That's good.
that's wild. Well, I mean, it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you
Yeah,
know,
man.
things seem to be like things seem to be working out so far, and you're
Yeah, I would say, yeah,
that's
things are
what's up.
working out. I can't complain, and getting into drawing as much as I have in the last year is definitely something that I was like, yeah, I missed out on this, and I'm glad it's back, and I'm getting pretty damn serious about it. So,
That's what's up.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
exciting. How
yeah.
do you find time to work on art?
Don't have kids. Don't have kids. I mean, no. I mean, I do got children. I got two dogs, but yeah, I don't. It depends. I mean, it's typically like I said, like I don't really have many obligations outside of like work.
Hmm.
Like my day job. I'm sorry, my day job, I'm a project manager for a different company. So for the last 2 years I've been working from home for a different company because I went back to school at Walmart and they paid for it
Oh,
for
okay.
project management. And then I got another degree and it's like I'm sick. I'm never going back to school again. So yeah, I went from Walmart to another company called Dun and Bradstreet, and I've been project managing with clients or customers and suppliers and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I do that Monday through Friday, but I mean, when I do got downtime, hopefully this hopefully my job won't find this, but no, I would say when I do have downtime or when I'm on a lunch break, I will doodle or draw or something. And I'm still like a night owl, so like I still have trouble. I wouldn't say trouble sleeping, but yeah, like my bedtime's like 1, 2 in the morning and I sleep till 9 because I can roll out of bed and turn on my work laptop and I'm good to go. It's nice, but I spend a lot of my time doodling or drawing at night. So take care of the dogs, do what I gotta do, dinner, maybe go for a walk or skate or something right after work. But once like 7, 8, 9 rolls around, it's either video gaming or drawing. As of lately, it has been drawing. I swear I haven't watched, I mean, I've been watching some anime.
Okay.
I haven't been watching other TV shows or anything like that. I haven't really seen a movie.
Uh,
I bought a
I've been
bunch of movies that I haven't watched yet. Yeah, what's
I've
up?
been so behind on like it's what I decide to watch is like very like it's like all over the place. Like I don't
Yeah.
keep up with anime. I really don't keep up with it
Yeah,
anymore. Like
exactly. Yeah.
anything I would once My Hero Academia's new season is out, like that's when I'll start paying attention.
Yeah.
But
Yo, man, Shigaraki's fucking shit up, bro.
was that
I
what?
said Shigaraki is fucking shit up, bro.
Yeah. But like I just
We could talk about it another time, but damn, yeah.
but like yeah, and then like everything else in regards to like the comics and all that, like I don't follow the
Yeah.
comic book.
Oh,
We're gonna get into like the film and comics industry because like there's a lot of shit's
yeah.
going on in that realm, but
Yeah.
it's just
Comics, I got you because like I'm looking at a stack of comics to my right because my work desk and everything else is on the other desk.
uh
But I mean, that's something I do on my downtime from work because I get my monthly comic books, so I get
okay.
Spawn, Spider-Man, and you can't really see my room, but there is a lot of Spawn.
Oh, nice.
So
What's
I'm
up?
a big Spawn connoisseur, but
Okay.
yeah. So anyway,
Nice.
sorry interrupting
No,
you, but
it's just so hard to keep up with everything.
yeah,
And
it
so
is.
like whatever I happen to gravitate towards, it's like it's pretty random. Like I wish I could like when people are like, "What are you into?" It's like, "Fuck, man, I don't know anymore."
Yeah,
Just it's like
yeah.
it yeah, like if I were to break anything down, it's just like nowadays the things that really pique my interest is stand-up comedy, mix MMA,
Oh shit.
and I mean, that's pretty much it outside of
Hmm.
visual arts, like
Yeah.
and it's just funny because like with like stand-up comedy and MMA, like I find parallel like values in those art forms. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's pretty much what comes down to. Everything else in terms of like what I watch is just like it's really just reruns until again I find something I like. So, you know, if we're
Yeah.
not
It's
if we're not just
oversaturation.
if we're yeah, well, yeah, hell yeah. But like yeah,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
there's nothing that really piques our interest or isn't recommended to us, I mean, we're just sitting here
Hmm.
rewatching Seinfeld, like just old sitcoms.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I don't know, like the newest stuff that I've watched is X-Men 97, uh which
Okay.
I was very happy with, to be honest.
I have not seen it. I have not
Oh
seen
my
it yet.
goodness.
And a
Dude,
lot of I
dude.
don't so yeah, another thing about me is I've been very strict on uh the whole like streaming service stuff.
Okay.
And
Oh, Disney?
Disney is
Yeah.
kind of one of those like it's like I wasn't sure because it was like Disney Hulu. I had them both, and I'm like, fuck off, screw this. Like
Yeah.
I'm done with both of you, because there was some acquisition going on, and not only that, but like even like Star Wars and the
Oh
Marvel
God,
movies.
yeah.
Like if you want to talk about that, man, I'm totally down with that. But
I mean, like I don't follow.
I was just like, it's
I just know there's
so
a lot
much
of
that I
bullshit
can't keep
going on,
up.
you know.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
And I know to me, the Marvel Cinematic Universe died
Oh
once
gee.
Endgames
Oh
happened.
yes. That's
And
general consensus.
and maybe Spider-Man No Way Home was great. And I think that was like
I think that
the
was like the tail
conclusion
end.
of like this is what was that?
I was gonna say I'd say like that one was probably like the very tail end of the hype.
Yeah, it's kind of like a the what happened 5 years down the road or something like that of after Endgame. And it was like, oh, that's pretty. Okay, cool. Close that and it's done. That was really sweet for them. I felt like that was a whole Marvel thing, even with Toby and Andrew Garfield and stuff, bringing them and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
But and I was like, why are they like? And I've seen a couple movies since then, and then once I saw She-Hulk, I was like, I'm not
Oh
watching
boy.
Marvel shit ever again. And yeah, because and I'm gonna say this on the record, but James Gunn has ruined. I feel like I call this with my buddies in our own group chat. I was like, dude, I will say this again. Ever since James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy
Uh-huh.
and everything had to become comedy and family
Oh
oriented,
yeah, yeah.
dude, to this day, Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie.
Winter
Favorite
Soldier's
Marvel movie.
so
Because
good.
it's dark, it's gritty, it reminds me of like 80s, 90s action movies, and the Russo brothers who directed and
Yeah.
did all that, they knew what they were doing. That's why they
Mhm.
did Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And you could tell there's like a complete difference in atmosphere and tone and all that with the because then everything needed to be comedy and
Yeah.
like Thor Ragnarok and then Love
Oh
and
goodness.
Thunder and it
Yeah.
was all shit. And I'm like, dude, James Gunn, I feel like ruined it because after that, She-Hulk had it. Moon Knight had it. And I was like, dude, Moon Knight was going in the right direction. And then so I was like, I'm not watching Marvel
Dare-
stuff until Deadpool
Daredevil
Wolverine
was
come out.
Daredevil before, it switched over. Like I thought Daredevil was holding up.
Oh yeah, those were good. Yeah.
Like that one,
I
I mean,
think
that's as gritty as it gets for,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But
you
yeah,
know,
it's just when it comes to streaming stuff, I just oversaturated, man. So
it is,
much.
yeah, it is. And you know, piggybacking on what you said, regarding James Gunn, I want to say right now, Guardians 3 was shit. Right? Like the
Yeah, I
first
heard.
one
I
I
didn't even see it.
enjoyed.
Yeah, I heard.
The second one, like, okay, just because the hype of the first one, but then the
Yeah.
third one came in and it was just like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Done. Um,
Yep.
but going back to not X-Men, so I'm with you on it. Like our like our subscription with Disney Plus is gonna end. I guess at the end of this year. So because I told Nicole, I'm like, look, let's not cancel it because I do want to see how X-Men 97 plays out. And
Yeah, yeah.
fortunately, I will say this, like if you do have a chance and you have access, I would definitely check it
Hmm.
out, especially if you grew up watching the original
Oh,
cartoon.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because I will say this, 97, X-Men 97 is definitely for us because of,
Yeah.
I
I've
mean, and
heard.
it made it like,
Yeah.
it's real like adult, like, we're seeing blood, people are dying, like it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to
Damn.
see
And
all
I
the
heard
new,
it's like a complete like it literally goes from where we left off with the
it
show
does.
back in the day to like years later. I'm like, that's like 30 years later.
It does.
So
And there's a
good.
lot of redeemable, some characters had some real great um like they redeemed some of the characters that were kind of like not as popular back then. Um
Hmm.
so it was just, yeah, it was really cool to see what they actually had done with it. I was a little weary of it because of like all like, this like woke nonsense. So as it
Yeah.
was getting
Yeah.
close to the premiere, I was like, ah, fuck, there's gonna be some dumb shit going on. But then watching, I was like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then I mean, like the soundtrack, the soundtrack to the cartoon, like it really set like a serious tone throughout the entire
Tone, yeah.
season. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it's if you can watch it without going on Disney Plus, I would definitely check it out because it's just like,
Arr.
I
Arr,
know.
a pirate's life for
I get
me.
it.
Arr. Dude, I mean, at this rate, the way that streaming services are becoming, it's like it's coming back like I'm on Reddit a lot too, and I
Okay.
swear it's like people are like Pirate Bay's coming back, baby. Like, all the pirating software, all the,
Oh, dude,
pirating
I miss
websites and
those days.
torrents and stuff, dude. Like, I mean, it's still there. And like I could hop on and download a season of something if I wanted to, but I think because streaming service made it so accessible that it made it easy. $5. Watch whatever the hell you want to watch. So why download and risk your internet service provider or whatever? But yeah,
Right.
now that I'm seeing all these like today, like Max just announced their price hiking, Spotify's price hiking,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, we're gonna be getting on a pirate ship very soon, and
It's almost like,
so
damn,
but I think I'm going to. Yeah.
just bring cable back at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. So you'll
But you
see
got
that,
the
like you'll see
ads
that in comment
too.
section. Yeah.
Like the ads
So
are
it's
have
just
to
like
replace the commercials, and if you want to skip the ads, you got to get premium and whatever. It's like fuck. Like we got
so
on
you were
streaming.
born in You were born in 86, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a year older than you. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you miss commercials? This is something I ask people now that we're getting close to our 40s. And like, do you miss commercials that, maybe if you let me know how you feel. Like the feeling of cable and the commercials and
Yeah.
if that makes
Um,
sense.
yes and no. It's kind of hard for me to say because
Hmm.
it's like I've been like following these YouTube channels that put together these long, like I'm talking like 3 hours of 90s Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep, yep. That's exactly why I'm asking.
Okay, so seeing the commercials
Yeah.
then, especially like, the ones that are geared to, for like kids and like just like
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, if commercials, if they were able to make commercials that were like that back then, I probably wouldn't mind. It
Yeah.
it, it kind of depends. Like I miss them.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss how they used to do them, I'll say.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's something about that era where things and look, like every generation is flawed. But there's something
Hmm.
about the 90s was like it was just so wholesome, you know?
Yeah.
Like
It
they
felt
had
structured.
the structure and like just
Yeah, yeah.
the moral values, like all of that thing. Like I
Yeah.
preach about this a lot on my art account because there's a lot
Hmm.
of what I work on is like nostalgic, fan art. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's kind of like what got me into like watching these channels. But
Yep.
yeah, there's just something about back then. It was yeah, there's like innocence, there's wholesomeness, and you know,
Yeah.
um, so I'll say yeah, I do miss commercials because like looking back too, it's like I don't know, like we're in the age of like um immediate access to things, right? So it's just like
Yeah.
soon as there's a break in the show, it's like, oh fuck, I gotta wait like a minute and
Yeah.
30 for it's just like it's a minute and
The
30.
commercial, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's no difference than, yeah, streaming or like YouTube, right? You're lucky to get
Hmm.
that skip button. But yeah, so
Hmm.
it'd be nice to yeah, I do miss it to
Yeah.
general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you as well?
Yeah, there's something about commercials that like there's a sense of structure because like you can get up and go get a drink, go get a snack or go, I gotta go pee, real quick. Those were those things that happened and hearing the jingles and you didn't even have to
Yeah.
watch the commercials to know like if you heard the sounds, there was something about the sounds of commercials back then that it's not just a nostalgia, but they stuck with our memory. But now I'm like, these commercials sound so like cinematic and scripted. I mean, everything was always scripted, but they
Like you can tell the
feel there's a
budgets were
different
up.
tone. Yeah, you could tell. Yeah, you could definitely tell like the streaming commercials, as we'll call them, is they're not as like catchy and and it's something that I always think about like when because we have ads on our stuff. Like it's just cheaper, why not?
Mhm.
So, but it's it is one of those things where I'm like, these are so dumb. But for background noise when I'm working, I'll put on commercials from the 90s just to hear the commercials and then the 588-2300 Empire, like that.
Yep.
Like and Toys R Us commercials, or I'll do like video
Oh
game
man.
commercials and stuff like that. And it's nice because it brings me back to a time where like I am I want to be able to watch something, but have something in between that I can take a break and go get something. And as you said, like we live in this time where everything's like super quick and it's
Yeah.
fast paced, but I don't I feel like sometimes it's coming way too quick and I'm like, no,
Oh,
I gotta slow down, bro.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, there's like
Like
a
even
thing.
AI, like,
Oh
yeah.
God. Well, we'll get into that later. But yeah, there's like a
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
called two screening or something like that, where it's like you're watching TV, but you're also like on your phone while you're watching something. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of it, but
Yeah.
then when I'm able to like step outside of it and be like, fuck, man, like just like enjoy the thing
Yeah.
in front of you, like, and
Yeah.
like that used to
Yeah.
be a thing between me and Nicole, like, we would always sometimes like get on each other's cases, like if we're especially if
Mm.
we're watching something new, like if we're watching a new episode of Shogun, and then like one of us pulls the phone out, we're like, you're not even paying attention. It's just like, like our attention spans are just like so damn short.
Yeah.
Fortunate.
There are there are so like I watch so I'm on YouTube a lot. So I've been paying for YouTube Premium for that was like the first streaming service I started to pay for because a lot of my YouTube stuff was like video gaming, drawing, like David Finch and like a bunch of comic book artists and stuff like that. And I hated having the ads, but I also got into synthwave music, like synthwave, lo-fi hip hop.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to have it on in the background when you lock your phone. So I was like, fuck it. It's
Mm.
7, $10 a month.
Is that how much it
So I've
is?
kept it. Yeah. Well, I mean, now I think it's like 13. So it's 13 if you pay through the app, but if you go online, it's like cheap. So that's
Uh,
what you so there's like because people don't know this, but when you pay for subscriptions through an app on your phone, you're actually paying a little bit more because the app has to pay to have their service on the App Store.
uh,
So Apple or Google take a cut. So there's a couple of apps. There's actually an article on Reddit or in The Verge or something that explained it. Um,
Gosh, it
but
sounds like
anyway,
how
yeah, I've had
it's like how we or it's like how like when you want to order takeout through like Uber Eats or like some other third
yeah,
party, you're
you get
paying
like
more
five,
than you
ten bucks
would,
of yeah,
as you would like directly with the restaurant. I remember
exactly.
because I actually had like this
Yeah.
one delivery guy telling me, he was like, hey, if you just like order directly from our website, like it's
Exactly.
you'll get
It's cheaper.
free breadsticks and whatever, but also you don't pay those extra fees. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And that's what exactly
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
That's too
Yep. Yeah.
funny.
So that's what I always did with YouTube. Is just I would go on my computer, Google YouTube Premium, pay for it, and that's what it's been. And I keep getting grandfathered into the old payment plan. And but anyway, I did that mostly for no ads because YouTube ads are shit. We're not, those aren't commercials. They'll never be commercials.
Right.
And just for the music portion, because there's a lot of great artists who are very low key, unknown. Then Lo-Fi
Mhm.
Girl started getting big and all that kind of stuff. And that was something I was really super passionate about, like as background office noise when I worked at Walmart. And
Mm.
so that was something I always kept, paying for subscription stuff. But all the rest of the ads, like I said, like you guys, I do ads like I because it's cheaper, it's the easier route or whatever.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's just yeah, there's so much, man. So much
Oh.
like stuff out there that it's like, yeah,
Well, should we?
it's too much. It's like cable again. So it's getting there.
It really is. Yeah. I kind of want to bring it back to the comics because I don't know if you heard,
Hmm.
but recently it was reported that Fat Jack's comic crypt got evicted. Do you
Wait, what?
remember? Yeah, Fat Jack's. after like 48
That
years they closed because just I guess
what?
just because of the direction like the industry is, or how much of a hit
Uh-huh.
the comic book industry has taken because of whatever. Like I don't know the full details. Um, but I mean, there's all this shit going on with society, right? The wokeness, the DEI and all
Yeah.
that. So I feel like
Yeah.
that probably has like a big factor into at least
Oh.
the outcome. Well, I don't want to say specifically with Fat Jacks, but I just feel like
Hmm.
comics is like I don't know. I feel I'm a little concerned like where it's going because of all this crap that's going on. Like everything that's happening with Marvel, MCU, Disney, Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's affecting not only comics, but it's affecting the video game industries
TV show.
too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I don't like hmm. I mean, I'll start with comics. Like I think comics are when it comes to, I mean, the art is always going to be the art. The artist will always be the artists, but the comics themselves won't be, the artists aren't the comics if they don't have the writers, you
Well, I
know?
think it's like just
And
the propaganda, like these like agendas that are being sort of pushed
yes.
through the story.
Yeah. And yeah, so there is, I would say, and I mean, now I don't read a lot other than what I have in my own, but like Spawn doesn't really, I mean, Spawn's never really kind of touched on that because Spawn has always been pretty, I mean, Al Simmons is
Yeah, you got a
a
black
black guy,
protagonist.
yeah, black protagonist. And I mean, he was mutilated, he was murdered, and,
Yeah,
he went
yeah.
to hell. He went to hell, not heaven. And, then he becomes a hell spawn. And I mean, it's always, I mean, and now Spawn's gotten bigger. And I think to kind of go with your point, everything wants to be a universe, which that's what's starting to bother me even more. But now Spawn has a universe, and that started 3, 4 years ago. So
Okay.
what used to be getting Spawn once a month is now Spawn, King Spawn, Sam and Twitch, Scorched, Gunslinger Spawn, and now what just started 2 months ago is Rat City, which is like a cyberpunk Spawn, and Monolith. So like, dude, Spawn has now, and there's a new one. It's only 4 comics coming out, but then it's on um Cyan, who's the daughter or illegitimate daughter of Spawn and Wanda and all that, the whole love story or whatever. But now it's going to be a story about her. So there's 8 comics in that Spawn universe, and it's like, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, dude, there's so much.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's like the agenda is like the universe to get that cash grab and all that.
Mm,
It's great if it's selling, but when it comes to like other stuff and storytelling, I mean, Spider-Man's really good. With the rehashing of Ultimate Spider-Man.
okay.
So those stories are pretty pretty good. And I'm just trying to think of like things that there was one thing that I was like, that kind of bothers me.
Hmm.
Um, what was it? Oh, Spider-Verse. Like the movie that came out last year, Beyond the
Okay.
Spider-Verse, was like I am not anti anything. And you obviously we went to school. We had friends who are in the LG,
All
I can
right.
never say it correctly. I can never say the
Well, you don't want to
LGBTQ,
say the
community.
alphabet mafia? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah. No. But like my youngest brother is gay, and my I had a roommate that I had shared a house with who's gay, and like I will always love them as my friends, right? Like, and I will always support you. But I think when it comes to things that I grew up as a kid and I want maybe my kids or my friends' kids to get into and read, um, there's or watch, I'm kind of like, I don't think that should be in there. Not yet. Not yet at least. Like maybe give it a little bit of time, and I remember seeing something about the article about the Beyond the Spider-Verse with the trans poster or something in the background and
Okay.
um I get it. like I totally get it. Again, I support everyone through and through, but I don't think it needs to be like an oversaturation. Like we're getting a universe of every TV show and comics and
Yeah,
same thing. Like we're getting so oversaturated with so much that I kind of, again, like you say, like I miss the 90s where it was structured, simple, and I felt like a kid again. And
yeah. Well,
I want,
everything is so
I want,
polarizing too, right? Like everything's
yeah,
in your
yeah.
face. It's wherever you look, right? And
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, sure it's woke, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's it to me, but there was a comic what I read and I was like, I don't know, I don't know if that should have been in there, but I won't get into it, but I it was something that came to mind that I was like sometimes it could be much, and it's
yeah.
when you want to support, I want to support them and I do as much as humanly possible. But then there's this line where I'm like again, like I want kids to still be kids. I want to have that creativity
Oh
and
yeah.
passion for art or passion for storytelling. And those stories are still good, but I don't think they need to be, again, like oversaturated of let's create so many universes. Let's talk about, a 8-year-old and a boy liking another 8-year-old boy. And it's, again, like, I, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just, I know it's a touchy subject, but it's
It's a
something that
very
I know.
nuanced subject too. Like
Yeah, it is something that I think about often where I think yeah, it should be a part of storytelling. Don't get me wrong. But I think that it's been, again, what we've been getting at with everything, just oversaturation.
mhm.
And I don't want, like, I just reflect on the kid I was back in the day and what stories did I gravitate towards, what, in comics and movies and such. And how did they affect me and change the course of my life and inspiration? What artists inspired me, what writers inspired me.
Mm.
Um, I guess that's the best way I can explain it because I know I
Yeah.
don't want to get canceled, but
No, I get it. No, I get it.
like,
And I mean that's
you
that's
know,
that's super reasonable. And yeah,
yeah.
like when I think back as a kid watching cartoons, like I can't recall any time I was like, man, I wish Spider-Man was Filipino or something like that or
Hmm, hmm.
anything. I
Yeah.
always like aspired to be like in shape. Like I
Yeah.
wish I had muscles like that or something.
Yeah. Like Goku.
I never
Yeah.
like, man, how come I don't know, how come this comic series or this show they don't have any brown people? Like I don't it just that never
Yeah.
it never came to
Exactly. Yeah.
my
It
head.
never, yeah. And even when I was a kid growing up, like I was like 11 years old when I found Spawn. So like that Spawn at that point was out for 3 years. I never once said like, oh, I mean, he was already in his prime of being decrepit and, obviously he's in the Hellspawn, but if they ever did flashbacks, I never was like, oh, he's black.
Yeah,
But I mean, but then again, my stepdad is black and my brothers are black. So
right.
like I have half brothers who are black. But so I never thought that. Like, and I'm half Puerto Rican myself, and I never thought that I needed to have something or a story give me another agenda or something. I was in it because I'm like, he's got powers, he struggles, he's learning to come up from that struggle, or he or she, like Witchblade, like, dude,
Mm,
such a crazy, awesome female protagonist comic story in general. But yeah, it never occurred to me to think that way. And
right.
now we have artists and writers who are being pushed that in that direction. And I think it has its pros, but I can also see where it can have its cons as well.
Yeah, there's got to be, and obviously I don't know, but yeah, I feel like there must be a better way to go about it. Um,
Yeah.
whether like they're just, I don't know if it's like they're just kind of rushing it because it's because of the
Yeah.
times or what. And like
Yeah.
that's a thing too. Like I've been really like I keep thinking about, these days. It's just because we're like, with the instant access of things, like, we're like we just don't let things kind of settle. Like, like, talk, let's say, with the iPhone, like the iPhone always had a new version, like every, I don't know, 6 months, let's say. It's just
Every
like
year.
we never let the new thing come out and then just like let that
Yeah.
like sit for a year or two.
Yeah.
It's just
I
like
agree.
this came out. All right, now we gotta make the next best thing.
Yeah.
By the end of the year or whatever. It's just like just let us chill with the iPhone 11 for a couple years, or like let us
Yeah.
get used to the and I mean, much can be said about like social media too, which I wanted to
Hmm.
pick your brain about because now there's some major changes, um, with like Meta AI and stuff. Well, yeah, we kind of like briefly like
Yeah.
should we like get into that?
Yeah.
Like, you
Oh
want
yeah. I'm fine with that.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, like, yeah, how do you feel about that? Like as
So I
well, I
yeah,
only
so I
know
sent
about
you
Cara so far, right? So,
yeah. Yeah.
like,
Here's the thing though. You're posting on Cara, which is a public forum, right? But if I was a self-proclaimed AI artist, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hop on Cara and I'm gonna screenshot, and then I can take that data and put it in. Now, this is an assumption, but this is also something I casually saw on Reddit was, there's this whole push for jumping from Instagram to Cara, but what I had seen was a person had said, well, like, dude, you could take screenshots. Like, no artwork is really safe
mhm,
because if it's a public forum and you're on there,
yeah,
you could take screenshots, plug it into an AI app to push it, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, you know? So I can understand if a company or business is not utilizing AI to scrub or scrape, your portfolio,
mhm,
but that doesn't stop other people from publicly seeing your stuff and just taking a screenshot, saving it, and then putting it through an AI database. I don't think it's gonna solve the problem. So
right,
that's why I sent you the comic book artist J. Scott Campbell, who I think he said it perfectly, is let's not jump to conclusions and let's not make an emotional decision that we could regret, and
yeah,
I love his approach because I too myself, as someone who's new to Instagram as of this year with my own art account,
right,
I was like, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go, don't want to do it yet.
right,
And I wanted to tell you there's a book called Steal Like an Artist, How to Steal Like an Artist.
okay,
Um and it essentially is like a creative outlook on how content creators or artists are, like, we get inspiration from one another. Like I myself, like, I don't know if you've heard of Joe Madureira or Humberto Ramos
yeah,
as comic book artists. But like I get extremely inspired. Like my style kind of resembles them in a sense, but then I really love Greg Capullo. I love Todd McFarlane in the comic book world. So then I take inspiration from that. So I think we've always kind of have stolen like artists because we're getting inspiration to create our own. Yes, AI is a computed thing, but how is that any different from, John Doe taking Jane Doe's work and saying, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Let me see what I can do. Right. And I feel like that's what maybe some folks are missing. And again, this is just like my point of view, but
yeah,
um, it is scary. Don't get me wrong, because people are losing jobs from it. It's
yeah,
scary, but
yeah. I just think, well, yeah, that guy, that artist, like put it very eloquently, like,
yeah,
and I feel like, I
yeah,
mean, he said because like I kind of said almost like not the same thing, but very, very similar, but he just said it much better than I did. But
yeah, yeah,
but like I think that yeah, I think it's just because it's kind of a scary time with that.
yeah,
People worried about their jobs and stuff like that. And it's just like people are so like I said, so I did a podcast kind of talking about it, and I feel like people nowadays we're just like now naturally we're not we're so hyper reactive, and we
yeah,
are
yeah,
very emotionally reactive too. So I think that's like what's happening with a
yeah,
lot of Instagram users. They're just like, once that news came out, they're like, oh, let's go to the next thing.
gotta go. Yep.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
threads. when Threads came out, everyone's like, all right, fuck X, fuck Twitter, let's go to Threads.
Yeah.
Threads, I mean, I don't know, maybe I have this view because I don't have much interaction, but like Twitter
Yeah.
was never my thing anyway. So that definitely plays into my views, but like it doesn't seem like
Mm-hmm.
Threads um isn't
You're
as
not missing much.
yeah, like it's just like
Yeah.
it's all this hype.
Yeah.
I think people were just excited because it's something new. And
Yeah.
now it's just like
Yeah.
what at least when I'm going through the threads, like I mean, a lot of times it's people just complaining. Like it's just people
Yeah. It's no
complaining
different.
about their followers dropping on Instagram or whatever. And it's just like,
Hmm.
and I'm sure something very similar is gonna happen with this app Cara and all and like Blue Sky and like whatever these like new apps that are popping up right now. Um,
Yeah. And they're also having trouble keeping up. And that's the thing, because
well, yeah,
they weren't anticipating it. And there's a lot of artists that I follow on YouTube that I watch who have also, made the jump and oh, it's really slow. I'm still waiting for a password reset email, and
everyone's
it's
signing up.
yeah, everyone and they don't know what to do with it. And that's the other thing is Kara is also it's not a full app. It is considered in beta, from
Yeah,
my understanding. So
yes.
they still don't have a lot of features that they're prepped for this.
Well,
So it's kind of
that and the
not the right
funding.
time, I think.
There,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did a segment earlier before our meetup, and here I'll read it again. But like it looks like a fee to be on this app. Which
Oh really? I thought it was free.
I thought so too, but so just judging off of what this is, the cost of keeping car running went up to $13,500 per month with 300K people on the platform. That's 162K per year. I genuinely hope that most of the people rushing over there will financially contribute to keep the site going because that's generally concerning for a small team who has been paying out of pocket. And I saw
Mhm.
like I don't know if it was directly from Cara Cara's page, but like I've saw like mentions of like trying to support this platform like financially.
Mhm.
That's when I in the previous recording I was like, I wonder if there's actually an app subscription fee for this, just
Mhm.
judging what I saw briefly. And then I saw that thread, and I'm like, oh, so damn, it's not even free. And it just sucks because then they really put you in this sort of pigeonhole of like, all right,
Mhm.
I'm on these free platforms, but I'm also not, but now in the risk of like having my content being used for data scraping, as opposed to
Mhm.
going on um a new platform that protects you from AI, but now you got to pay a monthly fee. And it's like,
Mhm.
I don't, and you're starting from the beginning and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
yeah, and like, me personally, like, I don't know if I have that bandwidth to like start a new art account.
Yeah.
Like I just manage my Instagram and YouTube. I mean, it's
Yeah.
mostly just Instagram, but yeah, it's just like I don't, so
You don't
I
have TikTok at all?
I had a TikTok before it blew up, like right before COVID.
Oh
I have
wow.
like a few videos,
I always forget that it was way back that app was
yeah,
around
dude.
for like a couple years before
Yeah.
COVID.
And that one was like I, I didn't have like a direction for that account. Like, now like
Hmm.
Instagram, I'm really trying to treat it like, my business.
Yeah.
But TikTok was
Hmm.
like, I was showing my, art videos, but then I was trying, I'm a goofy guy. So I was, trying to make funny videos on there. And,
Hmm.
I don't know. And this was like before. I'm sure like a lot of people would resonate with this, but this was like before we had any type of understanding of just the concept of the algorithm. So at the time,
Yeah.
I didn't have that understanding of it, and of course, I probably saw something some stupid video, and I was just seeing so much of it where I was like, fucking, like, fuck this shit. Like I was getting like burnt out
Yeah.
with the nonsense I was seeing, and then I was like, I
It's
just
like
did,
Vine. I felt the same way about Vine. Like
yeah,
Vine came out like 10 year, what, 2012 or something like that. And
yeah,
it was fun for like a short stint. And same thing with Snapchat. I was like not into those. It's like 10-second, clips or whatever. And I remember back in the day, because when I worked at Apple, we were allowed to get access to like apps before they went public, and Snapchat was one of them. And if I remember Vine too, but Snapchat specifically, I was like, dude, this app is going to be the relationship killer. Like it's going
oh
to
my goodness,
destroy some. And what do you know?
yeah,
But yeah, there was just some apps, and TikTok was definitely one of them. I knew, even though I keep forgetting that it was back before the pandemic, like how long it was out. I think it was out 4 or 5 years prior, but because something had to replace Vine, and
yeah,
TikTok was it. But it didn't get as much traction until the pandemic, and I just knew. I was like, nah, it's like
yeah.
10 seconds again. Like, nah.
Yeah, when things started
So
becoming like trends and like the stupid fucking
yeah,
challenges, like, and pranks, like it's just like
yeah,
I can't. And unfortunately,
yeah,
Instagram, like you can't escape it because people will cross post. But
yeah,
yeah, I do,
yeah.
because like yourself, like I enjoy editing videos as well. And
Hmm.
it just sucks that like to be seen, to have any engagement and interactions, like, yep, you kind of have to go
Yeah.
with the Vine format. Have your 5-second video, but now you
Short form,
gotta
yeah.
now you gotta have a catchy hook so that you
Yep.
can, and then like a very, that's the formula for everyone tuning in. You want to know how to grow your engagement on Instagram? Put a f- put a 4-second video, and then have a nice catchy hook on like text on
Yeah.
screen, and then your
Mr. Beast
caption
style.
is gonna be loaded with some fucking philosophical shit. That way people
Yeah.
have to read the whole thing, and then those replays
Hmm.
on that video is how you get your your engagement and
Yep.
your views. And like it's just like I feel gross, like, because like I'm playing the game too, like I, in
Yeah. Yeah.
order to grow, but it's just like now this
Well,
is my,
that's like that.
go ahead.
Yeah. So like that's like the book that I mentioned, How to Steal Like an Artist. Like the one thing I found this book, from this duo, Colin and Samir, on YouTube. If you don't know them, look them up. I'll send them to you. But
Okay.
they interview a lot of content creators, a lot of artists. Rick Rubin being one of them, and Rick
Okay.
Rubin has his own book.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the creative. It's over there. I can't see it, but anyway. Um, but they've interviewed a lot of people, and they've always wanted to see, how they've gone from the bottom of the barrel to the top. Because YouTube, you make a lot of money. It's ridiculous.
Dude, yeah.
And one of the things that they brought up about this book was everyone copying the Mr. Beast style, like the way the format of the video, even the way the thumbnails look or the subtitles. And you may not be Mr. Beast, but if you do something similar, you are almost bound to get views.
Yeah.
And even if it's short form, but YouTube to me, and it's always going to be long form. Like YouTube will always be known as the long form video format, even if they've introduced short form, which is still successful. Um, but yeah, like to your point, like if you are able to copy and do it as you can, if it's gonna get you out there, and get your audience,
Yeah.
screw it, man, do it. You're gonna find the right audience, the right people, and why not? And that's why I'm hesitant to. I have ideas, and I literally just bought camera equipment.
Oh
Like I
shit.
bought like a camera slider. Like I have everything. I just got it all delivered last week, but I'm really hesitant because I know what I want to do with my videos and art. I'm just kind of like it's putting it in motion because
Yeah.
I want to be my own thing, and that's the other thing that's happening on YouTube. There's things happening on YouTube that are starting to change.
Okay.
Now, sure, you may Mr. Beast style your videos and get plenty of views, but now I forget what Colin and Samir had said, but there's this big boom in long formatted YouTube videos, but they have a term for it. but they're seeing more content creators do this where it's like almost like a daily vlog, like Casey Neistat. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He's like a really well-known vlogging YouTuber. But they're seeing that kind of style of vlogging, but with what the person is interested in. So cooking, art,
Yeah.
skateboarding, and kind of influencing it rather than it just being skateboarding, art. So it's really cool because you're getting a look into someone's life, but in a completely different way. And I'll have to look up the word or what word they use, but it's something that's pretty like a newish. It's been around, but it's starting to kind of take the leap in the YouTube world of things. So,
Okay.
but that's kind of like what I would like to do is something similar where with my YouTube pages, yeah, like taking it away where I'm showcasing my art, but also like giving a review-esque of like what I'm drawing. And so not only am I critiquing my drawing, but I'm critiquing like so underneath the laptop here is my Howl's Moving Castle 20 by 24 picture that I started drawing in March, and I stopped because
Mhm.
that's when I got the idea because I wanted to like talk about the movie and I wanted to review the movie um and finish the drawing at the same time and kind of snip it together and make something. And I thought, oh, well, if I do that, then why don't I just make a YouTube page and see where that goes? And but again, it's like getting it that I'm not so sure, like
Yeah.
I'm scared, and
Yeah. Well,
but
it's good. That's good that you have those
finding
feelings.
your audience.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's a good feeling to have, like that, you know, having a bit of that fright.
Yeah.
Because like, that means like
Yeah.
it's important. Like that's important to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I think like to your point with, you know, if you're finding your audience, man, and you're getting yourself out there, if it's consistent, I like that's the thing. Everything I've watched, or like I said, I've been on YouTube for a very long time. Japan, I watch a lot of Japan stuff. I watch a lot of content creators from Japan,
mm,
artists, rollerbladers, everything. But the one thing that I've been always hearing is be consistent. And that's something I know that you've been doing. So like give it time and like
yeah.
you'll really find that audience that's for you, and
Yeah. I'm
especially if you're always being consistent, and not giving up.
yeah, I've gotten to a point where I don't have it's easy. Well, honestly, I had one reel that's been like still getting likes and comments
Hmm.
here and there. It was about losing followers. And
Oh,
because
what?
yeah, like it was like on the text on screen says
The irony.
is POV when you post your art every day and lose followers or something like that, right? And
Uh-huh.
so like in the beginning of the caption, it's like maybe I'll stop share, maybe I'll stop posting or whatever. But I'm like, but the
Mm-hmm.
truth is, trying to get them hooked to tap in and see what the rest of the captions.
Yeah.
So like, when people are commenting, they're thinking like I'm giving up. I'm like, you didn't read the whole caption. But because of that clip, I my
Yeah.
following had increased, which is nice. And a lot of
Yeah.
these accounts are organic for the most part, but it drew
Hmm.
in it's basically all artist accounts, which is fine. Like I
Yeah.
don't mind, connecting with more artists and networking with them. That's
Hmm.
great. Now I'm like, because I'm like in this online academy for artists. So
Hmm.
I've been like, and I have like these notes on how to, create engaging content and whatnot. And I kind of have to go back in my notes and see like how I can connect with, like you said, my people, but like, like to build sales, not to, you know,
Yeah.
not more people to network, but more people that will want to invest in my art. And there was like a
Hmm.
period where a lot of my content was towards like talking about the insights of my work, like why I draw this stuff, and like
Hmm.
more personal things to just help try to pull in, you know, um, you know, consumers and like art collectors.
Yeah.
But, I kind of lost
Yeah.
track and then found myself engaging with other artists. And it seems like I've engaged I've got the attention of like other aspiring artists because a lot of these accounts when I would go check them out, all of them are like teenagers. They're they have like a low small following and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
like pretty evident that like these accounts that are following me now are like they're doing they're trying to strive what I'm striving for,
Yeah.
trying to build up their page and all this stuff, and which is fine. But I'm like I need to reroute myself so I can try to engage with people that buy art. So, and that's like a
Yeah.
whole nother thing. It's like another, I don't want to say not another language, but there is like a different type of maybe like not verbiage, but yeah, it's just like my message. And I have to kind of
Hmm.
reclaim what my message is to, you know, um, I don't want to say persuade or encourage buyers, but I mean that's kind of what I'm doing.
Hmm.
But
Well, I will say one thing to you, now that we're on the topic of YouTube and collaborating or just, networking and all that stuff.
yeah.
So I've been saving this question for quite some time, and it's just odd. Like, this comes back to my grandparents, but my grandparents always said that everything happens for a reason.
Hmm. You want to
So
reenact our fight
as
scene? No, I'm kidding.
no, yeah, man, yeah, let's go, bro. I got that telekinesis, bro. Let's do this. Um, Damn, man. We still have to talk about
Yeah,
that, by
we'll
the
talk
way.
about it.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, so back when Akira Toriyama passed away,
Oh, yeah.
creator of Dragon Ball, um, I started taking, so I bought DBZ Kai, I bought them all. Like the day he passed away. And or actually I shouldn't say the day he passed away. It was a week before he passed away. I bought all of them because what I wanted to do with the idea I had for YouTube was I would watch a season, the Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, so on and so forth, and I would take a 20 by 24 and I would start to on a Bristol and I would start to canvas scenes that I really enjoyed or things that of it, of the show, and then review it at the same time while I'm drawing or, background audio, whatever it might be, or so I started taking notes, and then and I had you in mind. For some reason, I was thinking about you. I don't know why this came up, but like you were just in the back of my head because I remember you being a fellow Dragon Ball person. And one thing I remember in college you said to me was, dude, you draw really sketchy. And like, because I sketch a lot. And like, I remember being like, dude, goes back to me saying what I wanted to tell
That
you
sounds so
was I
arrogant.
remember yeah, I was like, dude, this fucking guy hates me. I remember the first time I met you, and we had a couple of classes together, and we slowly became friends. But then, like, just through our group of friends, our mutual friends. But me being someone who sketches a lot, like my work and stuff, and then I go over it like my line work. But
Hmm.
I remember telling you, I was like, well, I really like this Japanese animator style from the Animatrix. It's very like, and he's done Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, and it's very wiry. Um, and of course, Humberto Ramos and all the comic book artists and stuff. It's very anime-esque. But yeah, I remember just having you in the back of my head as I'm coming up with this idea, and I wrote it in my note, and I started writing my notes. And the question I have is if you wanted to do a collaboration with me and I got this idea from a YouTuber, so this goes back to Steal Like an Artist
Hmm.
and getting inspiration. So we pick a section or maybe not a section, like if we're watching, like if you remember certain areas of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, I draw a certain area, I film myself and give an explanation, and then I send this photo or this picture out
Uh,
to you. And
oh,
then you draw more onto it, and we keep doing it until we consider it completed.
oh,
And I got this idea because I was like, dude, this is a really fucking good idea I saw on YouTube. Even small YouTubers were getting pretty like views and such. And when I was coming up with this idea, I was like, dude, why don't I just ask G? And then literally Akira Toriyama passed away that week.
oh
And I
shit.
was like, oh, dude, I don't know. And then a couple weeks go by, and then you post the video that we did for my project, my special effects project.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should just ask G. Like, there's something that's there that I was like,
The
everything happens
timing
for a
was
reason. I
too
was like, I should,
impeccable.
yeah, the timing. I was like, dude, this is so weird.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could talk about it off, but it was
Sure.
something, it was just an idea I was thinking of sending a photo, like a poster, Bristol, whatever,
Hmm.
back and forth, and we just keep adding sections of a certain season of Dragon Ball into that, and then see where it goes, And if you say no, no hard feelings, I get it. You're a
I have
busy
a hard
man,
time saying
but
no. So,
but
I
I
mean,
always thought that that would be a cool collaboration with someone because I would get this inspiration from an artist called 1000 on YouTube. I don't know if you know him. If you
mm,
don't, go follow him. He's amazing. But we have a lot of his artwork here in the house. Some of his artwork is actually on my water bottle. He just did a collaboration with a bunch of
that's sick.
YouTube artists, but yeah, they just did like an Alice in Wonderland piece together. So but now he's a big time YouTuber, but then he would send artwork to smaller YouTubers and then they would keep adding to it. And I always thought that that was really unique. So then when I was coming up with the idea of my YouTube page, getting into the Dragon Ball, like I said, I thought about you, and then I'm like, maybe I should ask him. So, but yeah, like I said, we could talk about this,
Yeah.
off camera or whatever. And
Yeah, we can
um,
definitely yeah, we can definitely follow up like later on. And I'll tell you now, like I'm totally open for it.
sweet.
Like I said, I have a hard time saying no. Um usually just because I don't know, I always tell myself, just leave yourself open to, just opportunities.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's also the reaction piece because what I'm drawing, you're not going to see until, and what you're drawing, I wouldn't see until it comes into and I'm like, oh, that's sick, and then you add to it. And I think it's not just the artwork, it's the collaboration, but it's also the reaction. And I think there's so
yeah.
many pieces of that puzzle that work so well. If done correctly, given the time. And so yeah, just thought I'd run it by you.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm open to it. So,
We
we can definitely touch base on that like later
Okay.
on. Yeah,
All
that
right.
sounds dope as fuck. Like, and yeah, I definitely don't do enough collaborations with other artists. So, yeah, this would be a great opportunity, especially, doing it with an old friend. So, fucking
Exactly. Yeah, that's my
um,
thought. Not some rando.
yeah, so I'm definitely down for that, man. It sounds like a dope idea. Um,
All right. Cool.
yeah. So you do have a YouTube page right now, or you just haven't launched it yet?
I have a YouTube page. It's Vega Suckram Art. So I wanted to grab the handle when I made
Okay.
my Instagram. But I haven't posted any videos, of
Okay.
course. Like I wanted to get my ducks lined in a row. So I bought a camera slider. I bought a Sony ZV-1F, which is right here. So I mean, like I'm pretty damn serious about this. Like,
Okay.
and then I have my setup
Fucking
with my
go.
other camera, which my other camera
Let's
that overlooks
fucking
my
go. Man.
yeah. So like, I mean, I'm squared away, my friend. Like
Okay.
I'm pretty damn serious. It's just getting that extra push. And
Yeah,
one
of
thing I
course.
was telling my girlfriend was I was saying to my girlfriend, I'm like, it sucks because like I don't want to be the guy that draws Akira Toriyama just because he like or Dragon Ball because he recently died. And I'm like, I had this idea before he died,
Yeah,
and
but
I and it was just like, yeah.
right. Well,
So so
whatever.
it kind of put a little damper, but it gave me more time to really piece everything of how I want to approach
Mhm.
collaborating or just my own content and to post on. So, and I'm
Yeah.
like I said, I just wasted money on stuff that I know I need to start using. So it's like I have that push. I gotta do it now. So
No, that's
yeah.
awesome. Good on you for making sure you get your ducks in a row because I'm definitely not good at that. I'm quite impulsive when it comes to like stuff like
Hmm.
that. So I
Hmm.
think it's good that you're kind of being patient with it, making sure you
Yeah.
have the equipment you need, and then have
Yeah.
all your ideas, somewhat fleshed out. Like what you want to do, right? So
Hmm.
I think yeah, I mean, you're certainly on the right track. And if if I can be the one that can give you that little extra push, I'd be more than happy to. Um, but yeah, man, that's awesome. That's that's the nice thing about having an income. You can you can afford to use
Yeah.
the equipment. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, it
man.
did. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it took a while. I mean, this camera I actually got last year, um, when I started drawing a hell of a lot more. And that's a couple of my speed, my time lapse videos came from this.
Mm,
Um, the quality. And then I thought, okay, how can I do something different with it? But I just kept sticking with the time lapse stuff that I was doing
yeah.
or posting on my own personal page before the art page. And I'd take the camera outside and film the dogs or skating or something like that. So it became more of a multi-use camera.
Mm,
But then slowly but surely more ideas started coming, and I also wanted to get there digitally. That was the other thing, try to, whether it was like get the Huon big boy tablet I got for Christmas,
mm.
because I was like, I gotta save money for that. So, and then the iPad, which I just got a couple weeks ago, and um, really tried to again get my ducks lined in a row to get myself comfortable to where I want to be. I know my art's not the best, but that's the whole point is I think that's the other part of the YouTube page or just myself in general is the evolution of seeing where I go from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. There was that one YouTuber that like I don't know his name. I'm really bad with these names. But
PewDiePie.
who? Okay, so you
Was
know
it
what?
PewDiePie?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
um,
he did like a I draw every day for 30 days or whatever.
yeah, and he was
Yep.
yeah, I mean he was getting gradually getting better and better. And
Yeah.
it's just repetition. So like
Yeah, it is.
whatever state you're at, whether you think you're good or not, like I would say that's almost irrelevant because it's what matters the most is
Yeah.
are you intent on getting better?
Yeah.
So, I
Hmm.
think well enough, the more repetition towards something, the better you're gonna get. Like rollerblading, shit, I used to
Yeah,
not be able to
exactly. Yeah.
balance, and now I can fucking, I don't know. For me, doing the crossover with your feet, like that was
Y-
like a big deal
Oh
for
yeah, yeah.
or going backwards, like so like
Yeah.
fundamentals.
Yeah, man. Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean it's just like a matter of yeah, how much time you invest in on it. And yeah, and you've been pretty consistent. And I know you said that you were drawing a lot more last year, but I mean,
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
in due time, you're gonna get to where you want to be. So
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Because I've had these conversations with other artists, and I would actually mention not by name, but I would like always say like, yeah, especially like in animation, in that major, like so many students dropped or switched, and it's the ones that had like great potential, and it's just such a
Yeah.
shame when you see such a
When money
gifted
too came involved. Yeah.
the money, but like yeah, when you see such a gifted artist kind of just completely change their lane and their
Yeah.
path, and it's just like, oh man, you had it. You just had to stick with it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't cheap. Our school wasn't cheap, so I totally get it. But I mean, I don't know. But
Mm.
so to see where you're at and hear it from you, it's nice to hear that because like I had one of my good buddies, um, when we were, yeah, he was in my class and everything, and then after
Hmm.
graduating, we ended up working together at Michael's, and
Hmm.
he stopped drawing, and I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I would try to like
Why?
push him. I'd be like, dude, just draw anything. Just draw. You draw a dick. I don't care. Just like, just. Get the motions going, bro. Like, just get the.
Sound like Jonah Hill and super bad. I used to draw
I
really big dicks, really big
know.
girthy
But
dicks.
like seriously, I'm like, dude, just get the juices flowing again. Like get that
Yeah.
dopamine rush, and then you'll
Yeah.
really get back on that horse. And he just never
Hmm.
did. And I'm like, you're like you're good at drawing, and you just I'm sure there are like
Hmm.
there are other reasons to why he fell off, but it's just like, man, I really hate to see an artist stop making art. Even whether
Yeah.
or even for personal interest or they're trying to make a career out of it. I don't know.
Hmm.
When you're good at something, like just stick with it. Just stick with it,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I agree. And I know that like one of the reasons why I wanted to get into the digital art aspect of things was just to practice, of course, but I like go and I wanted to learn to go back and forth because going from digital art back to traditional, I'm like, dude, this
oh
is
yeah.
very unforgiving, super unforgiving because I can't, and I find myself
Yeah.
now where I'm like sketching and I go, I'm like,
Yeah.
like, I think I'm undoing something and I'm like, dude, I've only had this iPad for 3 weeks. Like what?
Yeah.
So, and but yeah, it's definitely I felt like it was a muscle that I had atrophy, to come back. Because last year I can tell I was like, well, I knew that there was still a little bit of me in there, but and that muscle, like anything, you have to work it. You have to train it to get back into motion. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
um,
definitely a
yeah.
humbling
But we had a
experience.
lot of those at school where, yeah, drop out,
Oh,
because of money or change or
yeah.
yeah, there were a couple. We had a roommate. We had a roommate. I think his name was Will, but he was so good. So good, G. It reminded me of Kim, what is that guy's name that just passed
Oh,
away? The
J
really famous artist,
Jung
Kim Jung-ji.
yeah,
And
Kim, yeah,
that's what this art, yeah, Kim Jung-ji and our roommate, I think I'm just gonna call him Will. But this was like my final couple months at AI. But Art Institute. I shouldn't say AI now, but
I
yeah,
know,
like
right?
he was so good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't want to say AI. Yeah, but at Art Institute, he was really good. But I think he was like a year and a half in and he
Okay.
had to drop because of money. And I was like, dude, that sucks.
I know, yeah, art
And
school is so
I
expensive.
still think about him to this day.
Yeah.
So,
You had another roommate, and this is like around when we were filming together. Who and
mhm.
I want to say it was Nick or something, but I remember meeting one of
Yeah,
your
Nick
who was also an animation
smokes a lot of
major.
weed.
But I had like
Yep, Nick.
I I kind of had doubts about it because I mean, now this is arrogant of me, but like I remember like someone gonna bowl with him during like a break that we had from filming. Like we took a break and then he invited me to
Yep.
smoke with him. And I just remember like seeing
Yep.
his environment is just like, oh dude, you're not gonna keep up, man. Like, now
Oh no.
I
Is there a
don't know if
way?
I was right or not, but I just like was like, oh man, like animation, like it's so like you gotta be on top of your shit for the most part. And
Yeah, he like smoked a lot of weed, so
yeah,
much
I
weed.
know.
And like he like I'm sending you a photo because I remember that night and this is me editing. This is me editing.
Oh,
We were editing the video and
yes.
you had just got done smoking with him because my room was the living room and I had that giant blanket.
Yeah.
And dude, because I don't I smoked cigarettes back in the day, but and so did you,
You and
and
yeah, we
so did
both.
Nick. But
Oh
like
my
he
God.
smoked so much weed, and we were in the room together that like I couldn't deal with it because I didn't smoke weed,
Yeah.
and not that I didn't care if anyone did. And then I couldn't go into the other room because that's where Larnell was, because Larnell and his hood rat friends were just like smoking so much weed that I was like, dude, this is nuts. And then the decision was, okay, I'm just gonna, are you there? I think
Mhm.
I
Oh, did I
oh
freeze?
um
Oh, okay.
yeah, you froze. Um I was like, I'm just gonna go in the living room and like I got these like blankets and sheets and I like rigmaroled it and stuff. But yeah, you left the room while I was editing, and Megan, if you remember Megan,
Oh,
she
I
had
remember.
took the picture of you when because you came back in and you were like, "Yo, what's up?" Like, dude, and like I remember Megan laughing hysterically, and I know she like dabbled with weed every now and then, and I can't remember if she ended up smoking a little bit too or whatever, but she was listening to my iPod, and she was just like, you were just like I don't know what you were doing, but I had music playing and you were just doing this, and then she's like, guys, and I was like, yeah, that's the photo. So I will remember that because I was like, bro, he's in there for so long. They must be hotboxing or something. But yeah,
I think that was the
dude.
night. Uh, that was the night when we were filming the scene where I think you like come to life or whatever. Like, because didn't like CJ play the science? No, Nick played the scientist or something, right? What weren't you like?
Hmm.
What's the character that was like a robot in Runaways?
Victor
Yeah.
Mancha.
So like I remember the
Yeah.
scene. You're like laying down, right? And then Nick comes in trying to
Yeah.
be a scientist.
Oh yeah,
And
I forgot about that.
so we just like I don't know, we kept doing takes, and then I think just from that scene
Because
we're
he
like, all right,
couldn't,
let's take a
because he,
break.
yeah, that's right. Oh my God, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Because we kept watching him and he was like, it wasn't like, it was acting. But he was like overacting. And like, dude, I remember that. Dude, I fucking remember that now. Because like I was on the table and he kept coming in. And at one point he was like tripping,
He
like,
was like
because
taking
he'd
wires
enter the
off me or
room.
something. I think
Yeah, it was, but he was like also like the way we had the camera one set up at one point, and like he'd like trip and he'd be like, "Oh shit," and he just would say, "Oh shit," and he'd be like, "All right, let me go back again." But he was like stoned already. Oh, dude, I forgot about that. And Chan was so mad. He was like,
Yeah.
"Why am I here?"
Uh,
Oh, dude, you brought the thank you for unlocking that memory. Oh,
dude,
that's good.
that was some great times. And you know, I'll say this. It's like it's kind of it's interesting sort of how how close we are. Because like sometimes I feel like we didn't hang out enough. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to work. Oh shit! I just saw the party photo. Um,
Yeah. So like
I don't know how
this
to
is actually
explain
when
it
yeah, I know what you're getting at.
because
Definitely.
I
'Cause
feel
like
like I mean obviously we all, when we're in the group we hit up Rittenhouse or whatever,
we all hung
but
out. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like when we were filming together that was like the most time we spent together, like filming and
Yeah, that
editing. We were
yeah,
that photo. It says it
outside
all.
of partying, yeah, yeah, like outside of partying and
Because that photo
school or
right
hanging
there,
out and smoking and stuff like that. Yeah.
that was the first night we met, I believe. Oh no,
No, I met you.
that's my surprise party. I think I had a
Yeah, that
Halloween party, and I think that's when I met you. Or
no, I met you
no,
before.
the Halloween
Yeah, so
party?
I met no, I met you. So I started at AI Art Institute. What was it? So it's 2007. And then I met you around the time The Dark Knight came out during the summer of 2008.
Hmm.
And this is coming back to what I said I wanted to say. I remember I was afraid of you. Like, even though you and I are both short dudes, like, whatever, I remember, I don't know what led me to go. Maybe it was Megan and the girls, like her roommate Sam and Ashley and whoever else. Like, I can't remember how we ended up in your apartment. No party, just we were there.
Really?
And we'd
Okay.
go there. Yeah, we'd go there frequent. Who Dante was your roommate, right? Was it Dante?
No, he was just over all the time.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's why. I don't, yeah, like so I remember going there because I was dating Megan and another friend of ours was dating Megan's roommate Ashley and Connor and our other friend and we'd go over there and I'm like, G? like, what's his name? And they'd be like, oh, gee. I'm like, is that his name? Like, what the fuck? Like, is that what? And I was like, it's gotta be a nickname. And Dante was like, no. I'm like, okay. And I remember Dante, like, I remember walking and he was just like almost talking to me like he was the parent and I was the child, like he normally used to. And I was just like, all right, I'll behave. Like I like as if I was gonna misbehave inside this apartment. I was like, I don't what the fuck? And when we walked in, if I recall correctly, you had like your bed, you slept underneath, didn't you? If I'm remembering correctly. Like, so we used to have like these cute, these like, so being 5'5", 5'6", whatever, we'd have to like fucking, I had to get a
You had
step
to
stool
leap
to hop
into it.
onto these, yeah, like to get onto our beds because underneath it was like you could have storage, you can have like a dresser, you can have a whole like
Well, they
party
were
under
meant
there.
to be bunk beds, weren't they? I
I don't know,
I'm
bro. If they were bunk beds, bro,
I
you'd
want
be
to say
really up there.
I want to say they were meant to be bunk beds, but in a lot of dorms they just had them separate, and that's why
Yeah, for some reason,
and that's
yeah,
why
they
like
were.
my bed was so or our our beds were like so high up because I think that was supposed
Yeah,
I think our beds were the top half so that
yeah.
all that space underneath is meant for the bed
Could be the
underneath.
bottom. Yeah, the
Yeah,
bottom.
but
Yeah, but
yes,
I saw every bed was like the top half though.
yeah,
Every bed. No matter whose room you went into, every bed was the top half, where that space underneath was just you had to leap to get to the to your bed.
yeah.
But when I came in, dude, I remember what you were wearing. Like I remember everything of that day
Please
because it's
tell me.
like
I
it's
need to hear
ingrained in
this.
me. So like like I said, we're going up the steps because the elevator or something was broke or busted. Dante's like yelling, not yelling at me, but just I'm like, I look at
He's
Megan, I'm like,
already
what
was
the
he
hell? I didn't
intoxicated?
do anything wrong. No, I don't know. He was just like, maybe there was like maybe the Marcus I was like, I was shy at times, but once I got to know you, like I would joke around a lot and tease and whatever. But I was just like meeting you, and Dante was like, no, like don't. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna misbehave. And we go into the room, and I was like, bro, it smells like straight weed in here. Wow. Like it was like, boom. My first thought was, wow, this apartment is incredible. It's incredible. And that's because you guys had the newer apartments above the H&M,
Yeah,
um, which was sweet. And then your Yep, your room was to the left. So you walk in, your room would have been to the left. The door to the left. So you walk in your apartment, the kitchen's to the right, and then like the opening of the living room and all that. So basically that picture I just sent you,
yeah,
that's your kitchen,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Like behind you.
correction,
And the
my
door would be to your left shoulder.
no, my room was off to the right. It was the right side.
What was it? Then who was to the left then?
That was my roommate Will and who was there at the time because we went through
Hmm.
so many roommates.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we
It
did.
was
Yeah, we
Will
did.
and maybe Joe or Ryan or
Joe and
Will
Ryan. Yep. No.
Ryan
No. Yep, I remember yeah, Joe and Ryan. I
Ryan.
remember Joe and I remember Ryan, those names. So
Yeah, my
we
room was
walk
off
into
to
your
the
room because
my room was off to the right, and I would
yeah,
sleep underneath my bed with the sheet hanging on the side
you with the
because
sheet,
for
yeah,
privacy. For privacy.
and you had the lights, yeah, and you had the
Yeah,
lights,
and I had the Christmas lights in there. I did
and
that for privacy
yep,
because I had a creepy roommate to share with.
yes. So that's another part. So when we walked in, I
Uh,
was like, he was like, G, and I'm like, dude, where? And maybe he's not here, and he's like, no, he's here. You were passed the fuck out underneath the bed because you got stoned, like you smoked up, and I was like, my first thought was, is he homeless? Like, why isn't he sleeping on the bed? And I was like, not knowing that that was a pretty good idea after I saw what you had did. Because I was like, and I thought like maybe he had PTSD. I was like, yo, like, and I was like, what the fuck? And, like, if I remember, like, I know Dante teased you a lot, and you guys both you guys were like, brothers
We
from another mother for sure.
yeah, we
You
definitely had
guys
like a family
really did roast
dynamic.
each other so much. Yeah. And and you just had this like you always had this demeanor about you that like you'd be like this almost like a grumpy old man. Not that you weren't really a I wouldn't say you weren't like a dick to me, but I couldn't get much out of you even if I tried.
Wow, interesting.
I remember that went on for about 2 months. And then it was September when the new season of Heroes started. And once you started to know that I liked Heroes a lot, and
Uh,
of course my hair getting longer and I had the Peter Petrelli haircut and that was my nickname and all that,
mhm.
you really started to like talk to me more and whatever. And then one of Chan and I, our best friend came down. His name's Kevin. And there was a girl that Dante was friends with. Or I think Dante was friends with this girl from his hometown, and she came down for like a party. And they were outside of your apartment in the stairwell. And Dante was like, "Don't kiss him." Like, just yelling, just like yelling. And like you were like, you looked at me and you were like, "Yo, is Kevin your homeboy?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, now this guy's gonna hate me." Like I knew it. And I was like, here we go. And he's like, "Yo, your homeboy's making my friend Dante really mad. Yo, that's what's up." Because you were just like, you were like trying to tell him to shut up because he was getting so mad. Like Dante was getting so mad at my one of my best friends from back at home hooking up or hanging out with the girl or paying attention to her that they left the party and all they did because the stairwell was like right outside your door and they were just hanging out in there, just shooting the shit and talking. And I
Yeah.
guess at one point everyone thought they were like making out and like, and it was like like it just Dante was I don't know if he was high or drunk or whatever, but I remember him just being like, "No making out," like just yelling. We're like, "What the hell?" But you found it so funny. But the way that you approached me about it is like, "Yo, that's what's up." Like, like, this is hilarious. And then from that point forward, we started talking like even more and like giggling. Like it was kind of like the thing that broke the ice.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it was Heroes and that interaction with, you know, that night.
Yeah,
So and
that
then every
tracks.
party you guys had, you would text me, be like, "Yo, what's up? You want to come over?" Like, "Yo." I'm like, "All right, cool." Like,
Is
so
that what it sounded like to you?
well, yeah, I don't
No,
that's just
I'm
me
just
being a character, but
it's just
yeah,
very
no.
interesting to hear an imitation of me, even lightly. It's just I don't know. This is like it's
No,
almost
this
eye-opening.
is you. This is you. Yeah. Like this is I remember the like hands like right here, not on your stomach fully, but just kind of like you'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I was like, dude, like I could never tell if you were stoned or like hot, like smoked up, or if it was part of you. And then I realized over time that was you. Like that was totally you. And I'm like, oh wow.
Oh
And
my God, that's
because
funny.
like that night that when that happened with my buddy Kevin and Dante's girlfriend or friend from back from his hometown,
Mm.
um you had just I think you had like a night class or you did something. Or no, you were seeing Nicole and she went back home to Jersey and you had came into the party like later at night because you guys had got done eating. So like you weren't even drunk, you weren't even stoned, like nothing. And like you did the like, yeah, like that's what's up. Like, this is hilarious. Like this is what I'm walking into, you know?
Oh shit,
So,
that's
but
fucking.
yeah, that's what I remember about you. Like again, me thinking you were this like super tough, oh man, this guy's gonna hate everybody, including me, to like then, you know,
I mean, that might have been a
once
defense.
heroes, yeah, like
That could be a defense mechanism. Also, like that what you had described definitely tracks because yeah, like I don't know. I always thought I was more outgoing, like off the bat, but it's true. Like I just need like one commonality between the person I'm
yeah,
meeting,
yeah,
and then once it could.
yeah.
So yeah, heroes. I was like, oh shit, now we're cool. Like I just needed like one thing in common where we can. Oh, brilliant picture. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's what it was for us was Heroes. That's when it was.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
like it was a super short-lived friendship. I mean, not super, it's not that it's short-lived friendship, but like at that point, that was fall of 2008, and then I was done with school. Was it May, June of 2009? So
Goodness.
I really only got to really be around you, during that segment of, you know, my life or your life too, like during that time frame. And but there was so much that happened. Like
So much.
Barack Obama became president, the
Oh
Phillies
my
won the
goodness.
World Series. Dude, there
Oh my
was
God.
but it was like again, there were so many things that lined up perfectly with friends that I met down there that even though the college sucked the life out of you and the money and all that, I to this day still say I don't regret that decision because
Nope,
like
neither do I.
again, I have so many photos of you guys in my own living room to this day, 12, 13, 14, 15 years later,
Mm.
and
Oh, that's
because
really
that
cool.
was yeah, significant part of my life and I'm still like Connor and I are planning for him to come to the house here.
Okay.
And Connor and Mike, they would always come to my place. And the photo I just sent, I that's a year after I was done with school. Like, I was still coming down to visit you guys
Mm.
um afterwards. And that photo was taken like July of 2010,
Mm.
where we're all taking shots and shit like that. But yeah, like I don't
Man.
know. You guys meant a lot to me, and I think
Uh,
if time goes on, I catching up with Connor's great, Mike, there were a couple times I've talked to Dante, just here and there. Um, but I know he's got his own thing going on, and that's super awesome for him. Um, just other people outside. And and it's crazy because Chan, my best friend from back at home, who I went to school with, we went to the same school. Dude, he still lives in the area.
mm.
I haven't seen him in 5 years.
Wow.
So it's like I've seen and caught up with you guys more than I've seen my own lifelong friends. And it kind of in a way, and that's just something I've talked to Connor about, is like it clearly means that like I made strong connections with people down at college. So yeah, I mean it's short-lived, I understand that, but I appreciate you coming up to me and saying, "Yo, what's up? That's what's up." Like, with Dante freaking out over my best friend and all that shit.
Well,
So that's
That's
what kind of started it.
that's really
So
nice,
thank you,
man.
Dante.
I that's really sweet of you to say, bro. I appreciate that. I'm glad that we stayed in touch, and even more so now, really sort of like staying up to date with like what we're doing art wise. Great
Yeah.
photo. Yeah, I gotta remember to save these photos for the edit. Um
Okay.
yeah, man, a lot of great times, dude. A lot of memorable times. Um yeah, it's crazy. I didn't realize um that yeah, that was like the span of our friendship during those
Like a
years.
year long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a year. Like it did like it felt like,
Yeah.
longer than that. I mean, well, time is almost it's it's an illusion, as I say. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man, that's that's just so. It's funny because like I've heard the I've heard a lot of comments like, when people's first impressions of me, like before they actually have a conversation with me.
Hmm.
I mean, when I had the Genghis Khan look, yeah, a lot of people, I mean, Nicole's family said that I've looked intimidating and
Yeah.
and I don't
I don't
know.
think you looked intimidating in a super bad way. I think it was
I had a coworker
you
at
had
Michael.
this.
I had a coworker at Michael said that he thought I was a drug lord, but or I looked like a drug lord.
Wow.
But like, but
Dude,
like I
bro.
totally get it.
Hmm.
But I think I guess maybe like the demeanor at first approach, that's probably just like a defense mechanism. It must be. Otherwise,
Yeah. I feel
you
like
know.
at some point at school you had said that to me too. I really do. think you had mentioned that because that's what came to mind was a defense mechanism,
Yeah,
So
I just
that's
yeah, because I gotta make sure someone's cool like before I start opening up. It's like, hey man, are you cool?
yeah.
Are you a fucking narc?
Yeah. And I mean that was the moment. So Dante freaking the hell out is what I mean, yes, heroes and you realizing that, and maybe a lot of times people have said like, "Oh, it's like something that has been said to me is like, "Oh, you don't look like a nerd. You're too cute or handsome or good looking to be like into nerd culture." And back then, of course, right?
Yeah,
Especially back then. And I was like, dude, I don't or you dress too well or something like that. And that was something that I know where people would be like, "Oh, are you gay?" And I'm like, "Dude, just
yeah,
because I dress nice and like or you're a douche because you dress nice." And it's like that doesn't no. Like
right.
I
You
can
were like an
understand like maybe if
anomaly.
you were hesitant.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you'd be like, "Wow, this guy he's dressing in H&M and he looks nice." And then, you're like, "Oh, he's not bad."
yeah,
So, yeah, I've been told that before that people are hesitant to talk to me because they don't know if I'm gay, which I'm not,
right.
or or if I'm like a douchebag or have a huge ego or because I dress nice and I'm like, well, or I look good looking, and I'm like, I don't care about that stuff. Like,
Yeah,
just say hi and hang out. So,
interesting.
yeah.
Damn. Um, uh, so since we're like reminiscing on the good times, can we
Mhm.
revisit the fight scene, the dream sequence?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Um, well, so because like I mean, the whole sequence itself, there's a lot more scenes than like what I shared on Instagram.
Hmm.
I'm so upset with
Hmm.
myself because I used to have that final cut that you had.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened to it. I must I don't know what happened to it. I
Am I
just
able to
have it.
share my screen with you or the video? Like I have the full video.
Should we do like a commentary on it?
Oh yeah, like an official commentary, not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a you and
yeah.
Dante commentary.
Yeah, not
Yeah, no, I mean, I can like we can like pause it or whatever and talk about it.
I mean,
Um,
if you want to do a share screen share or whatever, like we can do
yeah.
that. Um
Let's
yeah,
see. I
I'd like
don't
to hear
know
your insights on it, your commentary on it.
where. Yeah, where is the screen share button? Okay,
Oh
let's
man, here we go.
yeah, I don't know if this is gonna. All right, here we go. You got everything you need to see?
I see everything. And there's Megan. Oh my God. Was it 1346 building?
Yeah. Can you hear the music and all that too?
I don't, and I don't know if that's just because of we're doing the sharing or what.
Hmm.
I don't.
I could always send you the audio, or I could send you the video and you can overlay it if you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if that's not any trouble. Oh shit, she's about to walk in. It was funny listening to Dante talk about his perspective, like
Yeah.
killing. I mean, he was very drunk trying to explain it, but he said when he turned his head because he started like he was about to break
Hmm.
character. Well,
He actually played a really good dead person. So like, probably the best out of everybody.
so this was wait till it reveals. Um, so this was
Everybody's dead.
actually maybe I remember
Should I
I don't know if
pause
I
it?
was talking with you or I know I
Yeah.
said it to Dante, but it was like it's so funny because like we got this scene where dead bodies and you got Ed like mourning over Peggy, but it's like while
Hmm.
this sort of like massacre went down, everything is still neat and tidy. Like the
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun. So like I'll just go through. So there's Mike on the table.
yeah,
There's Ed. Ed's looking over Peggy. Peggy's obviously playing dead, and Ed is kind of like Nick, where he's like overacting,
yeah,
and it's like It's okay. Simmer down, my friend.
Well,
And then Connor, and then
he got like the most comfy
Connor,
position.
yeah. And but the funny part about Connor is he's fucking wearing like fingy gloves and a leather jacket. Like he looks like he's ready to go outside. And apparently he was cold from what I remember. And he just wanted to be playing dead if he's gonna be there for a while. He wanted to be warm enough. I was like, okay. And like, so he's back there on the like, what do you call it? Papasan chair or whatever it is,
Yeah.
like in the back. But I feel like there was someone else next to Peggy and Ed on the floor, and I can't remember who that is, and we might see it like after, maybe not, but I feel like there was one more person right behind Michael
Huh.
on the floor back there. I could be wrong, but maybe we were gonna have somebody, and it could have been one of Megan's roommates. But
Maybe. Like
oh my God,
this
Ed.
was done well, yeah, in terms of
Yeah,
thing and stuff. But it's when he gets up and
yeah.
leaves. He like walks.
Oh, dude. This I thought Megan was really perfect at this was, and this whole thing was nobody broke. This is what I don't know why. It was again, it was just the friendships we had, everyone, I'll just pause this real quick. Like everyone, there couldn't have been, it was like lightning in a bottle with us, is the way that I see it.
Awesome.
Because when we came up with this idea, it was like, oh, it's for my project, for my special effects class or narrative class or whatever. I think it was storytelling, narrative and storytelling class. But nobody ever gave me shit for it. Everyone was like
Mm,
all for it.
I resonate with
And
that.
yeah, everyone was all for it, and including you. But there was never a moment where like I've done things with friends, and maybe this happened to you, but where like you try to work together and you're all like,
Yeah.
laughing, and
Yeah,
you
you can't
can't be
get into
serious. But
character.
this was something, yeah, like dude, again, this was like lightning in a bottle because Megan doing this, I think we did it in two takes
Mm,
because Ed wasn't laughing, Peggy wasn't like there was nothing there where it's crazy. And the whole purpose of this too is um this is like a dream sequence. So Megan is inside of a dream seeing this death massacre happen from the evil character that I later play. But Megan's purpose was to try to communicate with the people in this scene in the dream, but she's trying to communicate, nothing's happening. And Ed is not supposed to break character or talk. And dude, they did such a good job
mm.
at like I remember this being the part where I was like, dude, he's gonna laugh. But then we laugh more at the next part, which is gonna come up when Ed gets up, like you said.
Yeah, this was shot very well. The editing, I mean, yeah, the acting was great. So, I mean, yeah, kudos to everyone.
There, there it is.
Yeah, wait, hold on. It's the next
It's like
shot.
when Ed slowly, yeah, is
Yeah,
it?
right here. It's like it's almost like
He tries to be. So funny thing is, he said this to me, and I remember this to this day. So when we watched this and I brought it up to Ed,
mm,
the reason why he walked like this is because in a dream, things seem like you're in a dream, and sometimes things seem like they're slow. Like they're in motion.
right.
So he tried to do that. And I'm like, oh wow, that
Us.
actually did kind of, dude, years later, it's like, oh wow, I see why he did that.
Yeah.
Cause like you don't think like you're like, okay, Ed. But if you watch it, you're like, oh no, it makes sense. Cause Megan's walking normal,
Yeah.
but Ed is walking slower because he's supposed to be inside the dream.
Right, right.
And then this
There you
part,
go.
he's so like, "Ugh." Look at his face.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Dude, you're so good.
Great.
So, yep, that's me. Just destroyed Ed.
It's really cool
Megan running
here.
out the door.
Really cool hearing you talk about that because like I wasn't there for that shoot. So like And that's like that's the cool part. I mean that's how it is in filming. Like you don't always have your
Hmm.
cast and crew
So
together.
you weren't here for any of this?
For that whole sequence, no. Like I wasn't there on
No.
filming or yeah, I didn't get to see this happening.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
I was only with you when we filmed the
the
scene
fight scene, yeah.
in your dorm and then the fight scene. Also, you didn't use this cut, but we did like an outside scene when we were like walking through the park. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just like I guess B-roll footage that like you didn't get to use
Yeah,
or have
because it
per
was supposed to be, I think the idea was Megan fell asleep at the park. And
uh,
then when she fell asleep at the park, like there's, like a scene where it was everyone hanging out and chit-chatting, like you said, like B-roll and
yeah.
at Rittenhouse. And then I remember getting some shots of her laying down.
Mm.
I don't know why I didn't use it. Um,
Maybe it was
but
like
I
a
think
time constraint or something, like, for your assignment.
I think it was a time constraint. And I think, you know what, you're right, because we filmed this like during the winter. Like it was still
Yeah,
cold
the
outside.
Christmas tree in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this was like after we got back from this was after Christmas break because
Yeah.
this was like my final project before I was, graduated and done. And we didn't do that B-roll until spring. So like I was already out the door of Art Institute by that point.
Yeah.
But I think I just we worked or I worked with this cut because it made more sense because it was a woman wakes up in a dream, she sees her friends are, something happened terrible, but she has the ability to see the future in a dream, just like the Petrelli's mother in
Yeah.
the show Heroes. Um, and then when she leaves the murder scene from the villain, Siler-esque,
Yeah.
she goes through the idea for going out one door and into another was like a Freddy Krueger thing. Because like
Mm.
I was always so intrigued by Freddy Krueger that Connor, as you know, is a super fan of Freddy Krueger and stuff like that. Um, he kind of gave that idea. He was like, "Oh, hey, since this is your dream, like you could do like a Freddy Krueger thing." And I was like, "Dude, he's actually kind of right." And I couldn't do the special effect that I wanted to, but the idea of like her running out the door that she came in from, she was in a hallway.
Mm.
So her mind is, I'm gonna go in one door or go in the door and go out the door into back to the hallway, but she's leaving it to go into the fight scene between you and I, and it's like more chaos.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so I'll get to that, sorry.
No,
The
fine.
end there. So yeah, she's leaving, she's running away, she runs past Dante's but it's still continuity body, and then she goes into this hallway, which is us.
I'm really proud of this scene between you
Yeah.
and I. I mean, and like the sound effects you had there, the timing of it is so
Yep. I'm gonna bring up something that I didn't know until just recently too.
good.
I'll wait until the end of the video.
I remember, there's like certain parts of the scene that I remember that
Dude,
were,
we use so many practical things too, like just ideas
yeah.
like this.
Oh
Like,
my
didn't
God.
we
All
put
right.
you
This
on a
scene when you're raising me up, do you remember how we were
yeah.
standing?
So wasn't I, because we're the same height, like you're
We
what,
were,
5'5",
no, we were
5'6"?
actually squatting down so that
Yes.
when you
We
would rise me up, I can just stand up straight to just to
yes.
emulate, you're actually lifting me off
Yeah.
the
And
ground.
it's
But I just
yeah, dude,
remember
it was so practical.
but we were like, I mean, I don't know how long it took us to be able to pull it off, but I remember we kept breaking because of like the silliness of like us like just crouching down
Because
together.
we didn't think, yeah, because like my best friend Chan was like, and I mean, Chan was recording from different angles, and we did so many takes. I remember we started doing this at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and we weren't done until like almost 11. It was a while. But
Damn. Wow.
when this part came up, you're right. Like we were that's when we were goofing off because it was like,
It was
no, this
just
ain't gonna work. And then we were like, oh shit, it worked.
well, it just felt
Like,
silly because like, we're squatting down, like our knees are hitting each other, right? Like we're just like, all right,
yeah,
it almost kind of felt like not, I'm just gonna say like, it felt gay, right? Like it was just like the way we were in our stances to film the
yeah,
shot. But it was funny, and then I just remember like it took a bit for at least for me to get in the character because like it's like yo, this looks so silly, but
yeah.
on the final
It
edit,
made sense.
it came out brilliantly.
Yeah, it
You would have
did.
never known.
So yeah, you would have never known. And like, god damn, I was so skinny.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
God.
so fat. But dude, that was like that was so good. Although,
Yeah.
can
I
we
think
can we go back to when you like push me to the wall, like when I'm like tossing myself up? Do you remember like having
yeah,
to do
dude.
that? Like that was the most
So this part or
this
this
one
part, the
right here.
dude, the even just like the cuts, the way that the cuts I dude, I have to stroke my ego a little bit
Dude,
here, but
stroke all
yeah,
you
we
want.
we
This
all did such yeah, dude, we did such a good job that the way the cuts are that getting help from Chan and us choreographing together, like the way that we worked together for this was perfect. And then Chan getting these super good cuts that
hmm
made sense. Like that one, just that shift of like transitioning from you
Oh, when
tossing
I'm
me to the
charging at you
wall. Yeah, and then you're like that
right
cut
here.
right there. Then that's another cut, and it's like it's there's such a there's it's like a story. There's no like pauses,
Mm.
and then it cuts again.
Oosh, oosh.
Yeah, but this part you wanted to talk about was throwing you around, right? Like
Yeah, when
the
I'm top, like yeah, when
telekinetic.
I fly against the wall and then throw myself on the ground, like that was hard because like
So
trying to
good.
emulate that it was telekinesis, not just me throwing myself around. Like
Yeah,
that was pretty
throwing yourself.
challenging.
Yeah,
But I remember this there's a part where when you like grab me, like hold on, it's coming up.
that.
I just remember the loud smack. Like, when we're filming, like it almost like I mean, you didn't slap me, but the that sound when you hit
It's your
my vest, it
yeah, the
just like
vest.
it
Yeah.
sounded like you bitch slapped me. And then my hair is like flying around, so it's just like kind of funny how
Yeah.
it came out. But I mean, it like worked is what I'm getting at. But like
Yeah.
dude,
It
that
did.
that scene was fucking it was awesome, man. Like
I
the process and the outcome, it was chef's kiss.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Good.
definitely.
Like
I think even just I give props to you for like I'm gonna go frame by frame real quick here, but to go back to that telecon like the transition from you starting to look at me to the next cut, you're looking at me again.
mm,
And every day I'm like, dude, Chan got some pretty good, like he knew he knew the vision that I wanted, but he knew, and I mean, he's my best friend, so I think he kind of was like, this is my buddy's project, you know,
right.
I know how to help him because that was his thing was production. Um, and it's just like the transition is you're looking at me with the fist on the wall, and he
Yeah.
knew, and I didn't know this till like years later. I'm like, oh, dude, G's still looking at me with his fist at the wall. And then I
Mm,
give you props for this because, dude, we did this
yeah.
so many times where you
Yeah.
threw yourself on that wall and I'm coming to walk to you. Because what Chan would do was when I walk to you, he would say, cut.
I
And
remember.
I would always stop in front of your body, but you couldn't tell, your body was like really, really close on the ground.
Mm,
And then the next cut was him going up to the stairs because this was his idea, was
mm,
getting the angle from the stairs rather than go behind us again because he wanted to showcase how far because he went back. I remember him recording it and seeing you fling yourself up against the wall, and then you started to drop near that fire hydrant thing, that hose
yeah.
handle. So his idea was go up and see the hose handle is like you're underneath that somewhere. So
Right.
he wanted to showcase that from a different angle, but then show that you're gonna freaking whack me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just, dude, we did such a good job, but I give major props to you because you took a freaking beating that day with falling and throwing your body around the way that you did, even this door, into poop.
Yeah, there definitely some yeah, thuds and but
No, no,
like I
no.
mean
No,
I
no, no,
was
no, no, no. So I said poop. Did you know that that door said poop there?
no. Is that oh shit. No, dude.
You never knew that,
No, dude, I
dude.
never fucking knew
So I've been
that.
saving
Dog.
this story. So this is another part of you that I'm going to save this story about you. So another thing about G that not only, that, oh, these guys, he hates me. Maybe he's, gonna beat me up or something, which you literally did in this,
I
you
know
know,
it's kind of funny.
film or whatever eventually. But you always talked about farting and pooping so much that what are the odds that years later, dude, I've watched this thing a million times for class, for editing, for doing everything, and then I would show this to friends later on, and I literally, when you posted this and I opened it up and I watched it again, I'm like, wait a second, that says poop. Like, what the? And I'm like, what are the fucking odds that the guy that always talked about farting and pooping all the time, G, Torado, he goes flying into a door that says poop. And I was like, oh my God, I have to save that because I don't know if he knows that that door says poop at all. And I had no idea all these years, 15 years later, I had no idea.
Oh man,
So look at how it comes full circle.
dude, for real. Dude,
Yeah.
I can't stop like oogling over this fight scene, man. Because like we
Yeah.
we
It
we
was
came up
good.
with that choreography like on the spot,
Yeah, we did. We
you
did.
know, like
We
and like
did.
whether or not you had the idea to shoot in the hall in the stairway, but I mean like everything we did, I think we was all improvised for the most part.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, yeah, with the help
Everything was improvised.
and your boy Chan, like I mean, yeah, he fucking
Yeah.
crushed it. Ah, so good. Dude, I
Yeah.
might that shot when you're coming to me, I might have to throw that in our thumbnail.
Where right
No, like that.
there,
I
like a
might have
little
to
before.
like right
I
like
don't know if
somewhere
you
in
can
that part.
yeah, I don't think you could see you though, can
No,
you?
no, no.
In that
Keep going forward. When you're
keep
actually
going?
like keep going, like
Right.
right there. I might have to that's such a I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I love that shot. I might have to include that in the background of our thumbnail. And like,
Dude.
it'll be our headshots now and then like that in the background. Like
Like
before.
a side view of like this.
Well, like it'll be like me and you side to side on the thumbnail, and then like in the back
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
that behind us, kind of like a then and now
Yeah.
type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just like a dope shot, man.
No. Yeah, it is. It really is.
So
And
good.
sometimes I often think like what my life could have been like if I would have kept doing this, but I don't like to think too much because nostalgia is a motherfucker.
I
And
I totally get that.
but
Yeah.
I can definitely say I am proud of, like I said, it was lightning in a bottle for sure
Yeah.
with the friends that we had and calling them and just it's crazy. Like, dude, my own personal friends wouldn't even do this for me,
Mm.
and be super serious. But meeting people at school that were like, yeah, dude, we got you. And it worked out like in one night,
Yeah,
And
that's
I couldn't be
true.
more grateful of, and I think that's something that's like a story that I always tell people, that I became roommates with, like my own personal friends. And I never got that kind of treatment. I very seldom got that treatment, in my later years of life. So thank you, G,
Dude, well,
for being that guy back
I should
then.
be thanking you for including me in this project, like I was even till this to this day, I was very happy to have agreed to do this. It was
Yeah.
so fun. And like I don't know if I told you then, but like like me and my childhood friends, like we used to do home movies all the time. Now, granted, back then they
Hmm.
were just silly, we're just fucking around. Um, but I've always enjoyed filming. I've always enjoyed this. It's kind of funny that
Yeah.
I never majored in film, but I've always enjoyed
Hmm.
filming and acting, even if I wasn't that good. I don't know. I like to think I did pretty well in that scene,
You
but
did.
granted, this was like the only. This is probably like one of the only serious quote unquote roles that I've ever had to play. Like everything else that I do is usually just for laughs, like just comedy, like if you want to say comedy. This is like the only like serious role that I've ever, attempted. Um, but yeah, man, I should be thanking you for including me in this awesome project. I mean, man, I didn't. It made me so happy when you reached out to me after I had posted this clip. When you
Yeah.
said like till this day, like you still pride on this thing,
Yeah.
like because it just again, man, it came out so well. So I'm gonna give you your flowers because you fucking crushed it with the editing and everything. Um,
Thanks.
and like the cuts. I mean, Chan got the shots and everything, which I mean he did phenomenal,
Yeah.
but you made the edits, you made the right cuts and pieced everything together.
Yeah. To
I
make
mean,
sense.
I
Yeah.
was actually, I mean, right, I was with you. I mean, that
You,
photo
yeah,
is
you were there. That
you're
photo,
just,
yeah, that's when I was editing everything. And like
reviewing.
you also, so I don't know, maybe you remember this, but the music in the background is all from video games. So the first half when Megan is going through the apartment is actually from Metal Gear Solid. Um the Psycho Mantis stage. So when you see Psycho Mantis, there's that opera singing and all that stuff in the
Yeah,
background, and that's like a whole psychedelic, psychic-esque dream sort of
yeah,
feeling in the game.
it matches. Yeah.
My favorite game ever. And then the second part is from a Final Fantasy game, and it like I remember having a different song in mind, and you chose this song for the fight sequence because it felt I don't remember if you said cyberpunky, but you said it felt suspenseful enough to be in that. And I remember going back and forth to the song I had originally chosen from a different video game, and I was like, "Yep, G's right. He's hitting the nail on the head with this one." And I chose this song, and this is the one that made the final cut.
That is very
So
interesting.
because you were high and we were talking about the sound effects, like we were trying to find sound effects and stuff. And
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, you had brought your hard drive over because you had like access to like different sound effects or something in
probably for
animation that
animation.
like
Yeah.
yeah, that I could have used, and I think that's what was used for the hit on the wall, this wall first,
Oh.
and then the hit where I fall, where you hit me, it's
Oh.
like a shockwave. It's like a shockwave sound.
Mhm.
Um,
The double hand
you know,
up.
right here,
Yeah.
yeah, this. So like we did use two sound effects from what you had brought over on your hard drive because
Interesting,
it fit like the setting or tone of this. So yeah.
dude. It's
So
such a good scene.
again, lightning in a bottle, man. I couldn't even ask my own damn friends to get involved with this. I love my friends, my close friends, but to this day I'm always like, dude, look at me. You look at you throwing me up in the air. I didn't even realize that till now.
Yeah, but
I was like,
you put
I was
extra
little.
effort. Well, no, you leaped
Yeah.
that too. So I mean, like it. Look, right. This is a dance. So
Yeah.
without you,
Woo.
like
Woo.
we wouldn't have been able to pull this off without each other. So I mean, you made this
Yeah.
great because you helped out. Like it's just
Yeah.
it was a team effort, man. I
Yeah.
think also to what you're saying about how, lightning in a bottle, I think we're all students and we all understood, the deadlines and stuff. So when our
Mm-hmm.
friends needed to complete an assignment, like we understood the assignment, right? It's like, all right,
Yeah.
Marcus needs our
Yeah.
help to put this thing together and here's the result. And you know, I don't care what anybody else says. If they think it's not as good as we're like hyping it up to be, fuck them. Because I love this thing, and maybe I'm being modest if that's the correct word. I,
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I think it's just so good.
It is. I mean, again, we have to like. I'm very proud of what we made. Super proud. I think this is definitely one of the best projects I've been made and collaborated with others on. And oh, dude, I didn't even realize you were fucking hauling ass up those stairs too.
Dude, well, that
You were
was
skipping steps. I didn't even realize
well,
that until now. Look
that's
at you,
well, that was the
dude.
thing I was
And
telling Dante. I was like, man, I
holy
was
shit.
the amount of times we had to make that shot, like all those times I had to run up those stairs. I mean, yeah, I was
Yeah, yeah,
steps. I mean, whatever, man. That was cardio I needed. So, but
yeah.
it is funny, like
Did
as
you
what's up?
no, 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 go ahead. It's funny.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's just funny, like as the sequence continues, like just how messier my hair gets until I'm on the wall. When you have me pinned against the wall, my hair looks pretty nice. Um,
Hmm.
but like it's got the flare at the end when I'm about to die.
Yeah.
No, but what were
Damn.
you gonna say?
So, did you hear? I mean, as you know, Heroes, after, I mean, the first season, and it's funny because it's like the first season of Heroes to me is lightning in a bottle, right? And then as the seasons went on, because by that point, when we were watching it at your place, or I forget whose place we were watching it at weekly, was it your place or Connor's place? It was someone's apartment we were watching Heroes at weekly. Um, we always said like how the show we could tell it was starting to tank because we went to school during that really big first writer strike,
Yeah,
which just made a lot of TV shows really just suck afterwards.
right.
Um, and then in 2015 they did Heroes Reborn, which
Oh yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
but I don't know if you heard,
Uh-oh.
so when the eclipse just happened not too long ago,
Hmm.
they're rebooting it
Oh.
completely from scratch. So, and it's official, it's not a joke.
Oh.
So Tim Kring, the creator of Heroes,
Right.
um, when the eclipse just happened that just went over, Texas to PA up here and all that stuff recently, a couple weeks back,
Yeah.
um, he took the opportunity to announce Heroes being rebooted. And at first I thought, no, this can't be serious. Like Tim Kring, the creator, and he said complete reboot, complete everything, and they may even start to go back to what they wanted to do originally, which was every season would be a new cast of characters, kind of like True Detective, where that was the initial process of what they wanted to do with Heroes with every season, but because of the success, they kind of wanted to see what happened, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Heroes is coming back, man. I think they said fall of 2025 or 20, maybe as early, I think as early as fall of 2025,
Hmm.
which is crazy because that means the show came out like in 2006, like it's almost 20 years ago. So
I
it's like, dude, we're getting old.
I know.
So, so I might make a little clipping of this and tag Tim Kring on Instagram to say, hey, we made this back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Bring us on board. Like, we'd love to work with you. I mean, dude, I mean, it'd be cool,
That
but
would be
yeah.
neat.
So,
Or even just
because
to
I
get the
think that's the thing,
recognition, right? Just to be like, hey, man,
right?
your work had a huge impact on all of us. And
Yeah.
to the point that I mean, this is like supposed to be based off the Runaways, like our characters, but but yeah,
But we still based off of heroes. Yeah.
but it has such a strong heroes element to it. Um,
Yeah.
so good though. Did,
Yeah.
so you follow my private account. Did you by any chance come across my stories when I posted this clip? I did like an edit where as you're pushing
Oh,
me
yeah.
up
You
the
fart.
wall with the Josh Groban. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
You're
feel like there
right
was one point.
there.
Yeah.
And
I
then
feel like a couple years back, though, that you also did the farting, which, excuse me, You did the farting noise where like instead of me breaking your neck and have that breaking neck sound, it was didn't you used to have like a little tagline or there was like sounds you used to have for your intro, which was "Bleh," or oh yeah, oh my God,
Oh,
G.
the
Oh my God. That's another memory right there. You and your Arnold. Oh my God, I can't believe that just came. Yes. Oh my God. Dude, I can't do now. You just had
don't
a reaction of someone unlocking another memory was yeah, you and
don't don't touch my
Your
hair.
Arnold fucking yeah. So yeah, you used to have an intro of your Arnold thing that I forgot you did until now. But you also had like a fart noise, didn't you? Like a "erp" or something like that. Or you would do it in your videos years ago, maybe.
Hmm.
Um,
Wait for the
but you used
podcast?
it right here.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe it was the podcast or it was in one of your videos where it was
so
a sound that you did of yourself where it was like, "erp," and you
hmm.
kind of used that in your video on top of the Arnold. Um, but yeah, I just remember you putting it years ago with this, and when I break your neck, and then that was it. So, oh, dude, I forgot about your Arnold voice. Oh my God.
Man,
Oh my
it's
God.
yeah, like yeah,
Dude.
reminiscing on our older, like our past selves. It's a beautiful thing, but then at least for me, it's like also kind of like a not heartbreaking, but it's just like because we were so free. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like now we're like, we're grown. It's just like it's just yeah, like that's the thing. When I look back at myself during those days, I was just such a goof and just like
Hmm.
I did and said things for laughs. Like it just like, and now it's
Hmm.
like, it's hard to do that nowadays, right? So it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like one of those like it's a beautiful thing, but then it's like, damn, if part there have been parts of me, and I've spoken about this on the podcast where I miss that version of myself. And
Yeah. Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
obnoxiousness too, but like there was just something that was
Yeah.
just more fun about, I don't know, like I mean only you can speak on this about like what it's like being around me at those during those times because
Hmm.
I don't know, I just like when I look at myself now, I feel like I don't know if it's like having a little more self-awareness or whatever, but I'm
Hmm.
definitely much more toned down in terms of like the obnoxiousness and
Hmm.
just like doing things for laughs. It's like, but yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a
Gotta
beautiful thing.
find the kid in you again, man.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I'm not to say you don't have it. I said, gotta find the kid in you, but not to say that you don't have it, but just, bring it, not to say the kid from years, but, bring that person, remember who that is, right? Like there's like my pappy always said, it's always good to remember where you came from, like know your roots. Um, remember things that you did and experienced, but don't live there. Don't live there because it's not good, but bring whether it's that person or that experience into your present and see where it takes you. And
Yeah,
I think that's, what I said last time is bringing that back into my life because it was kind of like I think it was lacking, remembering the kid I was or the teenager I was, or even these times at college and bringing it back because there was such a different version of myself, like you and once you get there, man, you're gonna be free again. Like you can be free, and it's still hard, but we're pushing 40 at this point. It's like, God damn it,
right.
it's so hard.
Well, I think it's
So, because
also
everything hurts.
I think what factors into that whole thing is just like, it's like it's who I'm around nowadays too. And
Yeah,
we're in a very different like social climate as well. So, like
yeah,
the people
yeah,
we were around back then, obviously much more forgiving and didn't take everything serious. So
yeah,
it was easier to joke and
yeah,
like
yeah,
roast each other and just like just fucking fuck around. Like and especially
yeah,
in my position, it's only been like a few years, so I'm still very much trying to get yeah, like trying to find that, comfortability, for me, like to
hmm,
be comfortable around people where I can like feel like I can shine that way, but also making sure
yeah,
like they're comfortable enough to have to witness that or experience that for themselves. Because like,
Mhm. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like Southerners here, it's a there was I can tell you right, there was such a culture shock when I first moved down here. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so, but you know, yeah,
Yep.
in due
Once you
time.
cross that Mason-Dixon line, brother, it's it's not that far away, but man, once you cross that line, it is like
Dude,
yeehaw,
yeah.
completely different. I mean, there are, I would say they are a lot nicer than people in this area. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Polite, more polite, I should say, in, if you need directions or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of different personalities down there for sure.
Yeah,
So,
I did have a friend on, and he was kind of like breaking down like the sort of like the culture of Southerners. So it was like
hmm
really helpful to get a more grasp on like when people are being genuine about what they say. I'll say that. Because
hmm
yes, they're
yeah,
very
yeah,
polite, but they're not like us, where like I mean, we're nice too, but we'll be honest to your face. You know what I mean? Like we don't beat around
yeah,
the bush.
yeah.
And they
No,
do that
no,
here. So it's like
yeah,
because that was the thing. I was like, man, everyone's so nice. But then when I would really try to engage with some people, I'm like, oh, you don't fucking mean what you say, huh? It's like
yeah,
that was like a reality check.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
fine. You know, I found a handful of people I can trust to be around.
It's
Coincidentally,
good. Good.
they're transports as well. So that's the thing. It's like I
hmm
found myself being able to be myself around people that are also transports as well. You know, people coming from New
Yeah.
York and like Baltimore and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, hmm.
That's
Interesting.
good. That's good.
I mean,
That's
it is
like, yeah,
good.
that's like yeah. Yeah, like that's especially when you just up and go somewhere and it kind of happens that way. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the town I grew up in, and the only time that I've ever really lived anywhere else was college and when I had a house in Bethlehem, which is just one town over, more of a city-esque town. When I had a house with some buddies of mine for right after college, like 4 or 5 years. But I've always wanted to take that leap to go somewhere else, like a different state, different city, just to see. And I know Chan has always said that to me. And my dad, people have been like, oh, you'd probably be much happier. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, like I'm pretty happy. Like maybe I'm complacent, but I always find it inspiring. Like my cousin moved just like you. My cousin lived here. We were very close, my cousin and I. We graduated together, and then he moved to Chicago when we were 25, 26, and he met his wife, has kids. Everything fell in place for him. And then just like moving, you and Nicole, it's like, holy shit. Like I find that inspiring that you guys can do that, and see where it goes, because
Yeah.
I would be scared. I would be scared.
I
So,
mean, Nicole, yeah, I mean, it's scary for me because, like, yeah, besides my in-laws, I have no other connections.
right, yeah.
And
hmm
Nicole wanted to be, closer to her sister. So,
Yeah,
it
that's
is
right.
like
Yeah.
it's a big change, and
Yeah.
it did feel kind of abrupt too. Like, it's like, oh, suddenly, like, oh, like Gina Nicole moving out of state. Oh, all right. So
Yeah.
it was a bit of a shock for others, but it was necessary. It was necessary.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good, man.
Yeah.
So, do you want this video? Do you want me to send this video to
Yeah.
you? I don't know how to send it. Like if you got Dropbox or anything like that.
Uh, I
Because you
haven't
said you don't have the full video of this, right?
not anymore. I have like if
Okay.
if I have it, it's like I would have to do some serious digging in my hard drive. But
Yeah.
yeah, because I
No, I
was
can
like trying
send
to
it.
think back, like when because like when I used that video for the podcast with Dante, like I had that
You had it
that
on your
cut.
yeah,
So
on your social, yeah.
I'm trying to think back. I'm like, what happened to that file? Like, so Yeah, it's just
And and I'll say this, like you saved this video for me because my hard drive, I after college, I had gotten a 2 terabyte hard drive that I, plug into the wall. Stupid mistake. Don't do that. Put it in a surge protector. It got fried. I lost so many photos of college in this particular video,
Mm,
and you had posted it, I want to say like around like 2015, 2016,
mm.
on when you started doing more of your fitness and everything else.
Oh, right, right.
And I had emailed you. I was like, "Yo, brother, like, can you send this to me?" And you did. So
Oh, interesting.
thanks to you, I was able to get that part of my life back that, I was very proud of because a hard drive died. And now I'm like, okay, iCloud, I got two hard drives, like I got everything saved. But yeah, I mean, I could send this to you. Just let me know
I was gonna say
how
if
to
you want
send
to,
it because I know it's probably gonna be.
I was gonna say if you want to try, we can try Dropbox. It's been a long time
Yeah.
since I've been on there, but
Or no, I have Google Drive. You can get it off my Google Drive.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Google
Yeah.
Drive.
I can I can put it up there and I can send you the link to
That'd be
download it.
awesome, man. I
So
would definitely appreciate that. And yeah, I can throw it in the final edit of this episode. Um,
yeah, man.
dude, this
It's been 3 hours.
I know, I know. Well, I appreciate it, bro. And that's the thing about this podcast. It's so because like all the big podcasts on YouTube, they got like it's like an hour, maybe an hour and a
They
half.
got beats. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I can't. I don't know, man. Especially when I'm talking to people like you, like people I know. It's so hard to constrain that in just 60 minutes. And like even sure, I could probably I mean, right, when we're trying to figure out the screen share, like I'll probably cut that little bit out, but like
Right. You'll be clipping things out. Yeah.
I don't like cutting out like I don't like cutting out a lot of the raw stuff, man. I just feel like that's where we shine as like that's we're
Yeah.
our authentic selves, so it's just like why
Yeah.
cut that short. um
No,
but
I
yeah, I
agree.
mean that's the general experience. It's I mean not to be corny, but it's almost like the Joe Rogan experience. Like it's not in this
Yeah.
not like what we talk about, but like just lengthwise. It's like it goes deep.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
It
man, it's
does.
so hard to
Yeah.
keep it short. It's
Yeah. There's a realness to some podcasts that, like you said, like Joe Rogan and other podcasts that are out there that are an hour and a half long, but when it gets to when you get used to the certain beats, you're just kind of like, all right, well, he's yeah, like I don't know how to explain it other than when you're hitting this tempo of podcasts, it's like, okay, it's the same thing, different person.
yeah, it's
But there are podcasts that I watch that or listen to that definitely are more open, like there's an open airness to it, like
right.
this. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, man. Well, damn, bro. What this was awesome, dude. I'm so I'm
yeah,
happy
man.
that you wanted to do this.
Yeah,
Like this
for real.
this was a really really nice reunion. Because I
It
want to
was.
say, well, I've had a couple well, I had some, classmates from the Art Institute that have made appearances,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's not often when I get to chat with my my classmates. So it's
Yeah.
cool to like reminisce. And also like yeah, 'cause like the way we met and everything, like I never knew
Hmm.
that, from your end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
And the
really
video, I mean, yeah, just talking about the video too, like that's, yeah,
I love
definitely
it,
cool.
man. Um well
Yeah.
before we put a bow on this, because
Yeah.
it is I like to end the every podcast with a little segment where I usually pick out some type of inspirational or motivating quote from artists and
Hmm.
philosophers and that.
Hmm.
I pulled one up very last minute, and
Hmm.
I I'll read it off, but I feel like you had some really nice ones from your grandmother. And I was
Hmm.
gonna say I can read one off here. And then if you
Yeah.
want
Go
to
for
share
it.
another one, another, quote from your grandmother, because
Mhm.
they were beautiful and resonant. So this one again, like I was, not to be rude, but I was like trying to find something as we were um
No, no, you're fine.
talking, but
I had to tell my girlfriend to turn on the air conditioner. I was like, please turn on the air. It's so hot in here. I'm
uh,
sweating." Like,
oh,
yeah, I was like, oh my God, please turn it on because the house was getting too, because I turned off the air because it's flickering on. And if it flickers on, then the internet cuts off real quick.
I see.
So,
Okay.
but I was like, I'm cooking in here because it's like really warm here. But anyway, yeah.
So this one I feel like I might be wrong, or might be reaching too far, but I felt like this quote kind of resonates with what you were talking about in regards to you and working with your art.
Hmm.
So I don't know. This one just felt like it fit. This is a quote by, and I've been quoting this guy a lot on the podcast, Stephen Pressfield's "The War of Art."
Hmm. Oh,
And
yeah.
the quote is, "The most important thing about art is to work. Nothing else matters
Hmm.
except sitting down every day and trying." So I thought that was sort of fitting towards, like, when you're saying, I'm not where I want to be in terms of my skill set with your drawings,
Yeah.
and we were kind of saying that it's like, yeah, you just gotta just keep working, and you're gonna get
Yeah.
to where you were last year, and then you're gonna surpass that. It's all about
Yeah.
the intention. So
Yeah. It's definitely, yeah, the evolution for sure. And getting that atrophied muscle back, to strengthen and stuff. And I know I'm there. I know that I'm there, but as artists, as you know, we are very critical.
oh
We are
fuck
very,
yeah,
very critical. And we are very unforgiving, and very opinionated. And we're entitled to that, and it's okay. But I
yeah,
think that's what like inspires us to do better or to get better ideas or, just be imaginative. And I think that's something a lot of younger generations definitely lack.
oh,
Where we kind of we have to like give that wise old man, you like my pappy telling the younger generation, like, yo,
but
this
you
is how
know
it's
what?
gonna be.
There
You just wait.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
like, guaranteed they're gonna say the shit that we were just saying earlier. It's like, fuck, you were right.
yeah, yeah,
No, it's gonna hit them
yeah,
later. Um,
yeah.
Also, hey,
But yeah,
you're
definitely.
also a lefty. Left-handed, right? Aren't you left-handed?
Yep, yep, yep.
Yes.
I'm a lefty. Damn,
Yes.
you remembered. You remembered more than I thought you did about me. Holy shit, bro. My last name and that I'm a lefty? God damn. I don't even think Connor would remember that or Luna. Like, and those were my roommates. Holy
Oh man.
crap. Damn.
Uh yeah, so yeah, like is there another quote you'd like to share from,
Yes.
from your grandmother?
Yeah, so not for my grandma. Well, I will for my grandmother, but one that I wanted to share from Rick Rubin, from the book The Creative
Okay.
Act was so you know who Rick Rubin is
I
by
do.
chance?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna download his book on Audible. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know who he is.
Download it. It's yep, it's good. I think that's also been the extra push for me is reading that the last year, but periodically, not straight through. I've just been slowly burning through it, but I pulled up the quote that I was like, I can't remember it real quick, but look for what you notice, but no one else sees. And I really thought about the moment that when I was drawing, I was at the brew. So I go to a local brewery right down the street from my house. I'll have a beer or two or three from right after work until 8 o'clock. And I draw what I see, to practice, or I draw a character from anime or whatever. But when you messaged me when I said, "Oh, my models moved," I thought of this quote in the book. And I was like, like look for what you notice, but no one else sees because I'm noticing these people and nobody else is noticing them. Maybe they are in their own little bubble, but no one else is noticing them in a certain way that I'm noticing them, and no one sees that but me. So when you had messaged me and you're like, oh, I hate when that happens because like you're in that moment of seeing something that no one else is noticing. So that quote definitely stuck with me when you messaged me. I think it was like last week or something. Like I was on vacation,
Yeah,
that's right. So
yeah,
you
that's
messaged me and um but yeah, that's definitely a quote from the book, for
nice.
sure. Um and then my grandmother, another one, my grandparents, both of them, uh they always said to me, "This too shall pass." It's just a very simple quote, but I think again, as I've grown up and as you know, we're trekking 40 and the pains are starting to set in and everything else. Not really, but I really think my grandparents giving me all these quotes growing up really set me up for, knowing what the ebbs and flows of life are, the ups and downs, and because a lot of people I know that I'm friends with just can't handle stress and I get it. There's so much some can take, and they just don't know how to deal. But there's outlets, there's medication, there's therapy, which is great and all that kind of stuff. But I was very lucky to have my grandparents tell me these quotes, and that one specifically, "This too shall pass," because um, we all went through very hard times. I may have not have mentioned this, but just real quick, I actually lost my brother in 2012. He had passed away. So I know that I saw you guys in 2011, and then I actually had like Christina, Matt, and Connor, Mike. They all came to my house in June of 2012 because then I graduated from community college, but then my brother had passed away, so everyone had to go home. But yeah, so like that was a very hard time in my life. But I was able to have the right skill set, whether it was quotes said from my grandparents or the friends that I made, college friends that I made. And again, it was kind of like lightning in a bottle again,
Mhm.
to help me get through those moments. And even just with bills and drawing and getting over my own critical thinking of, all right, I gotta cross that line, to just do something that I love to do. Uh, but yeah, this too shall pass is definitely something that I think everyone needs to hear, is because it's never 5 years from now, it's not going to be there, whatever is bothering you.
Yeah,
So, or maybe even 5 weeks, 5 months, you never know.
it's true. Absolutely. Like nothing
Yeah.
is
So,
nothing
yeah, I
is.
know I just went really deep on that, but
No, I love it, dude.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
I strive to have more of these like deeper conversations. I mean, and there've been plenty on the podcast, and like I'm
yeah,
happy to have these deep moments on the podcast. As
yeah,
much as I love bullshitting with friends on here, but obviously I'd love to have these beautiful gems, these valuable gems for the audience to take with
yeah.
them after tuning in. So, um, thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate that.
You're
And
welcome.
I
You're
know
welcome.
this already is like years past, but I just feel I want to say, my condolences for your past losses.
Thank you. Thank you. So, and
Absolutely.
and I'll say this, talking to you, I feel like nothing's changed. Like
It
you
does
are
feel
you are
that, huh?
still we are still 15 years. I mean, well, 15 years after I left, but I last saw you in 2011. But so we'll say 13, 14 years, something like that. But
Yeah.
I feel like nothing's changed. Like
It
hearing your
doesn't feel
voice, you're still the
it.
same. You're still the way you laugh, like everything is still there. And so much time can go by. And that's why, Connor and I really talked about that, as time can go by that we don't see each other or speak. But then when we do, it's like it goes right back to where it was, like the friendship, the one-to-one, the talking, and just bullshitting, and you know how Connor is. He's super philosophical. So Connor, if you're listening, thanks. Because he will go off the deep end sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing I can appreciate with you guys is, I was a little worried. I was like, oh, I don't know,
Well, yeah, right. Because
but
you never
I
know
was like, all right, great.
how things can. Yeah, because like and that's kind of how it was. Like, I love Dante, but our meeting was like not was really not what I was like anticipating. So
Yeah,
it was eye opening. I'll say
yeah,
that. Um, but that being said, I still enjoyed, our time together that we had, and I got to meet his partner, which was beautiful. But yeah, it's
nice,
like you just
nice.
never know like how a reunion's gonna turn
How
out.
people have changed. Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah. Well, because who was
Yeah,
it? I think it was like Anthony. There's this he's like a public speaker. I don't want to say philosopher, but his name
Mhm.
is Anthony DeMello. He wrote this book called Awareness, and he like often talks about like in the context of friends, it's like, when people say like, "Oh man, I miss you" or whatever, it's like, well, you don't miss me, you miss the person
Feeling.
like you knew back then. Like you miss the old
Yeah.
me, you miss the memories of
Yeah.
me. Like you don't
Hmm.
actually miss me because I've changed so much, or maybe not as much. Who knows? But
Yeah.
that's the thing. And you never know you never know who you're gonna get because so much time has
Yeah.
passed. That being said, I'm relieved to hear that according to you, I have not, I still have my, you know,
I think it's your communication style, it's your demeanor, it's your laugh. Like, of course,
yeah.
you just like me, you definitely probably had hard times as well over the last couple years, and that changes you. That changes you on how you take things in stride, right? And how you move forward with your life. But hearing your voice, you can kind of like hear it is
Uh,
like, okay, that's still him. That's still G. Like I know, and that smile, there it is. Like I'm like, there it is. That's the
uh,
guy that, yeah, I remember, and I'm glad that that's still there, because like you could be like, oh, thanks, bro, and just move
right.
on,
I could be like a
but
completely
it's like,
traumatized, like war vet or some
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean,
Like,
no, like I was a little hesitant, and then once you started talking, I'm like, all right, cool. He's there. I know he's still there,
and
so
and
that's
I'm
good.
sober, like I'm not high, surprisingly. So
Oh, that's okay. Even if you were,
oh, if
you
I
would have
was
still
stoned,
been,
if I was high, I
yeah.
probably wouldn't I feel like there's a stark difference when I'm like high, but it also depends how high I am. But I feel like as my good buddy Nick tells me, I don't know,
Mhm.
I guess as of recently, maybe because of the experiences through podcasting, um, I've appeared to be a little more succinct than
Mhm.
my previous self. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
That's good.
that's
That's
good.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
do you wanna share your socials for the audience? Would you like me to include your art page?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, Vega Suckram art. Vega it's Marcus backwards art, ART. That is Instagram and YouTube, which there will probably be a YouTube video within the next month, I'm hoping, once I get everything squared away,
Mhm.
the very first one. Um, yeah, I'm still going to be posting on my Instagram. I'm not going to Cara, like, or Caro, however you say it. I'm
Yeah,
not going to go just yet. I'm not going to make that emotional decision.
right.
Um, yeah, give it some time, and it's not going to stop me from what's happening is not going to stop me from drawing,
Right.
and posting somewhere, some outlet. I
Yeah.
still want to put something out there and share it and go from there, and because I like doing it, and I got a lot I got a lot that's been building up there for many, many years that has never gotten to come out yet, and
That Pandora's box,
um
bro.
yeah, so it's kind of unlocked at this point.
That's all.
So we'll see where it goes. So I'm pretty excited.
Fuck yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so like
but
for the audience, definitely check them out on Instagram. And I will provide the links in the descriptions. Um and yeah, if you don't, if you visit this page and you're like, "Oh, there's not much here right now." Trust me, there's going to be more, all right? So just like you said,
yeah, there will.
he's got a lot brewing. So be patient, and also you get to experience the evolution of his work. So and
Yeah,
there's always a beauty in that. So
yeah.
that
Thanks, man.
being said, everyone, thank you for joining us on this beautiful reunion, and I hope there are lots you can take away from this. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay driven. And we shall catch you on the next one. Peace out, everyone. Yeah,
See you
yeah.
later.